Hi, Janathan. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Rizwan.
Okay. Satek is not here. She should also join, I guess.
Okay.
Hi everyone.
Hey, hi,
Hello.
Satya.
Yeah. Shall we
Yeah, I
start
joined
then?
from the new link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we start, Satya? Maybe you are going to give a short introduction. So let's just start,
Yeah,
okay?
sure.
Meantime, I will start the
Okay.
recording, okay? Recording has already started, I saw. So, okay. Let's start. I'll not turn my camera. Even let's see. I'm not sure if my camera is here. Yeah, I will share it. Okay. So let's just start. Welcome everyone to our new event or the event which is happening all around the world called .NET Conference 2024. And we are hosting this event from Cloud Expert Group as well as with collaboration of .NET Girl. Uh, I hope you all know like .NET 9 has already launched and it has a lot of new features, exciting features. We will see next will be presented by Satya, and we have lots of expert and they will be giving their session on different topics which will be shared by Satya. So Satya, you can take over. I will try to share your screen. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Is this your slide, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me present it. Go on.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the .NET Conference 2024. This is Satya Karki, one of the organizer of this event. I will shortly introduce what is .NET and the new features and enhancement in .NET 9. With profession, I'm a senior software engineer. In addition to this, I'm Microsoft and CSAP Corner MVP, and I have more than 13 years of professional experience in software development and data, mostly with Microsoft technologies. So next slide, Rizwan. .NET has gone through several evolution and improvement. Earlier, it was a proprietary and mostly the software developed in a .NET framework uh, were used to run primarily on Microsoft Windows machine. Later, it's dominated by cross-platform .NET projects. .NET is a free cross-platform open source developer platform for developing several types of applications such as desktop, mobile, web applications, game, IoT, and so on. In .NET, you can use different languages, editors, libraries to build the web application, mobile, desktop, games, IoT, and many more other applications. Microsoft has provided Visual Studio for .NET developers. The latest version of the Visual Studio is Visual Studio 2022 17.12. This is released with the .NET 9. Furthermore, you can get a Visual Studio community version in a free and use it for your learning and the education purpose, as well as community versions can be used for application development for small businesses. For large businesses and enterprise use, it has other versions. For example, Visual Studio Professional for professional use and Visual Studio Enterprise for enterprise use. Additionally, Visual Studio Code also can be used to develop the .NET applications. It is a free and the lightweight software development platform. Rizwan, can we move to the next slide? Yeah, sure. Microsoft has released and introduced the .NET 9 on November 12, 2024 with the release of the Visual Studio 2022 17.12. .NET 9 is the latest standard term support STS version of the .NET. .NET 9, the successor of the .NET 8, has a special focus on the cloud native apps and the performance. It will be supported for 18 months as a standard term support STS release. .NET 9 brings the numerous enhancement in performance, stability, and security. Additionally, it incorporates the improvements in platforms and tools fostering the increased developer productivity and innovation velocity. Now let's move to the key features and improvement in .NET 9. .NET 9 released with a C#13, ASP.NET Core 9, and Entity Framework Core 9. C#13 introduces several new features and enhancements aimed at improving the developer productivity, safety, and the language consistency. ASP.NET Core 9 introduces several features to enhance performance, functionality, and developer experience. Entity Framework Core 9 introduces several enhancements to improve the performance, expand the database support, and enhance developer productivity. For example, the Azure Cosmos DB for NoSQL enhancement, LINQ and the SQL translation improvements, model building enhancement, migration and the schema management, and many more other enhancement. In performance side, .NET 9 has a performance enhancements that includes the faster build processes with a streamlined logging and reduce the noise in a error output. Improved runtime optimizations for the .NET applications, focusing on execution speed of the program and the resource efficiency. The another improvement is in the NuGet enhancement. In NuGet enhancement, it includes the vulnerability auditing for packages, faster dependency resolutions, and improved package management performance. Last time in my company, we updated and tested in the .NET 9, and also we upgraded the Visual Studio 2022 17.12 version, and there we found the several NuGet packages warnings and the vulnerability, and that we need to upgrade to the latest version of the NuGet packages. That suggested to upgrade to the latest version. That improvements has come with the Visual Studio 2022 17.12 with the .NET 9. In .NET, other key features and the improvements are the .NET H5, AI integration, cross-platform, and the cloud, SDK, and tooling. .NET Aspire is another cool feature of the .NET 9. .NET Aspire is a cloud-native stack for resilient, observable, and configurable cloud-native application development. In AI side, we can integrate the OpenAI in .NET application. Microsoft.extension.ai simplifies embedding AI models like GPT or Lambda into the .NET applications. It has enhanced AI-driven development tools in a GitHub Copilot, offering better code generations, debugging, code fixing, optimizations, and many more. Furthermore, there is an enhancement in Blazor applications, updates in .NET MAUI, and the Blazors for the better cross-platform app development, improve the Azure integration for seamless cloud deployment. .NET MAUI is a successor to the Xamarin Forms, which enables the creation of the projects for different platforms, WinUI, Mac, iOS, Android with a single code base. .NET MAUI supports the cross-platform projects, and the .NET 9 has introduced the Visual Studio Code extensions for the .NET MAUI developments. You can get the elevated performance, reliability, and developer experience for .NET MAUI application. Additionally, there is an improvement in SDK and the tooling that includes MS Build Script Analyzer, build checks, workload sets for the controlled SDK versions, enhanced handling of the analyzers and mismatches. .NET 9 has several other enhancements and the improvements for the .NET developers, and in today's event you will learn so many things about with our valuable speakers. That's all for the introduction and the key features and enhancement in the .NET part. Thank you everyone. Over to you, Richwan.
Thank you, Satya, for a nice introduction and giving the quick overview of .NET 9, its improvement, key features, and I have seen it has been evolved a lot over these years. So let's now dive into some specific session. Now we have here Mr. Janardhan Selviraj. Can you check uh, if you can, if you are good to go? Hi, Janardhan.
Yeah, hi, Rizwan.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. So I think all good.
Hi,
You can see,
Janardhan.
Yeah, hi, Satya.
yes. So, Janardhan, if you want, you can, if you want, I can bring you also in the screen. So, do you want to bring yourself also in the screen or only you want to share your screen?
Later, I can share my screen.
Okay, you don't want to bring yourself on this, right?
Mm, Again, I don't have multiple screen. Better I can do it directly from my screen.
Ah, that's great. No worries. Only you can even use single screen. I can just bring you here, so it
Mhm.
will show you. Okay, you are presenting. That's all.
Okay.
Okay.
Shall I start?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Rizwan and Satyam, for providing me this opportunity on the .NET Conference 2024. The most hottest and the trending topic of this hour will be building your own AI agent using semantic kernel. Okay. So let me introduce myself. So I'm Janathan and Selvaraj. I'm a technical manager at Eviden, and I am a Microsoft MVP under the AI platform category. Also, I'm a Microsoft certified trainer as well as Microsoft Learn expert and the C Sharp Corner MVP as well. So currently I'm holding 13 plus Microsoft certifications and other cloud certifications also I'm having. Any questions related to GenAI as well as artificial intelligence platform, always everyone can feel free to reach out to my LinkedIn handle. So there's my LinkedIn handle. And as well as I'll be posting the technology related videos as well as the internship opportunities on my YouTube handle. This is my YouTube handle as well. So anything related to technical stuff with respect to the AI platform as well as the Gen AI platform, you can reach out to my on LinkedIn handle as well. So let's get started. The major agenda for today's discussion is on the semantic kernel in a nutshell overview. And what is the purpose of this AI agent and what are the components of AI agent and how the evolution from chatbot to AI agent has been started with respect to the agentic AI framework. And let's see how we are going to build your own agents with the help of semantic kernel using .NET framework and the built-in plugins as well as how to use persona types with respect to your semantic kernel, with respect to the .NET SDK framework we are going to discuss as part of this conference. The very first one is semantic kernel. The name says semantic kernel. It is an open source SDK. If you want to build your own custom AI agent with the help of .NET SDK, you can use semantic kernel. By using this semantic kernel, it is possible to combine the option of large language model with your existing native code, which is there in C Sharp .NET, that is possible to integrate inside your semantic kernel mechanism. So what is the major crux of this semantic kernel? If you are a core .NET developers and you want to create an AI agent to make sure that all your natural language prompt is going to perform exactly as per the semantic kernel, then you can use semantic kernel. So what is the major crux of this semantic kernel?
Hello,
Yeah, seems like Janardhan having audio problem. I cannot hear him.
can you hear me?
I can hear you, Rizwan.
Okay, maybe I think there can be some difficulties from Janata's side. Um, Let me try to knock him again. Can see his screen and he is available in
Yeah.
this meeting. Yeah.
Hi, Janardhan. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think there can be some difficulties or technical issues with Janata's presentation. Let me try to knock him again and get. Meantime, let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay. So let me just try to knock him again.
I think there is a network delay, I think so. I hope you'll be able to hear me.
Yeah, yeah. Now we can hear you. You are back.
So, the earlier slide, everyone able to hear? The earlier one, this one?
No, we lost you from here. Yes.
Okay. The semantic kernel programming languages, it supports your Python, your C Sharp .NET, as well as your Java programming language, which was supported by the semantic kernel. And this semantic kernel has various types of AI endpoints supported by Azure OpenAI, OpenAI framework, as well as your Hugging Face AI endpoints are possible under your semantic kernel. Then, what is this AI agent? So, AI agent is a program where you will be achieving a specific task or a specific goal. This all these AI agents was powered by the large language model, which was trained with a massive amount of data. So when I say the large language model capabilities, it could be a text generation, image generation, code generation, summarization, translation, various types of capabilities your AI agents was supported to perform the large language model capabilities, where you will be performing all types of tasks or all varieties of activities with the minimal human intervention, which is your AI agent. So under this AI agent, how the actual evolution gets started in the sense, With the very first part in the Microsoft Azure platform, we were building the conversational AI, engaging customer experiences with the help of the Azure bot services. Then we moved on to the RAG pattern, which is a retrieval augmented generation, to make your conversation grounded for your real-time data. Then from the RAG model, we moved on to the Copilot part. So under the Copilot, where user will able to complete a varieties of task or an activity. From Copilot, now we reach to fully autonomous agent. If you say fully autonomous agent, you can respond to a variety of tasks as well as your activities will be able to perform with the help of your large language model with the minimal human intervention. So using a minimal human intervention, what are the activities or tasks it is possible to fulfill with the help of your agentic AI framework. So that we will be discussing under the agentic AI framework. So what are the agentic AI capabilities we have? So agents is possible to write the code generation. Code generation capability is possible. Agentic AI as the email generation capability in terms of composing the email. And it is possible to summarize various meetings as well as conversation based engagement activities is possible with respect to your agents, and you'll be able to create a recommendation system out of this agentic AI framework. So these are the four important capabilities where AI agents started evolving around your semantic kernel with the help of your C#.NET framework. Why do we need semantic kernel? There are three major reasons we need semantic kernel. One is the semantic kernel platform provide a streamlined integration. So when you say streamlined integration, it is going to simplify the entire integration of all your AI capabilities into your existing applications. For a larger enterprise products and solution, you will be able to streamline all your AI products as well as AI services using semantic kernel. So with the help of the semantic kernel, the learning curve has been reduced. No need to learn the entire API of various LLMs. So with the help of semantic kernel is sufficient enough to make your agentic AI application or a framework with respect to your Azure AI services that is possible. And the last important reason why are we using the semantic kernel is semantic kernel has a enhanced reliability. When I say enhanced reliability, it has the .NET SDK framework where it has the ability to fine tune your prompts as well as the task can be created accordingly to predict the user experiences in an engaging manner. So these three are the important capabilities of your semantic kernel with respect to your .NET SDK framework. So this is the architecture of your semantic kernel. If you notice the architecture, the semantic kernel, it is segmented into two important modules. One of the module is model is a module, and the second module is memory. This model module, it is going to serve as an orchestration layer. The entire semantic kernel is going to be served as an orchestration layer. By leveraging all your large language model, will be segmented into various plugins as well as connector. So with the help of utilizing your existing plugins and connector, you can achieve your orchestration framework with respect to your model module in your semantic kernel. And memory module, it is going to retrieve as well as store all contextual information related to prompt. If you want that, then you can go for your memory module. So memory module, we have a list of actions, we have a list of triggers. If you want to retrieve as well as store any contextual information, those contextual information is converted into your semantic prompt, then you can make use of memory module. So models has been leveraged with the help of connectors, and your memory has been leveraged by utilizing the existing triggers and actions. This is your overall semantic kernel architecture. So what are the agent components or what are the components of your semantic AI agents? There are three important components you can notice with respect to your semantic kernel AI agents. One is the plugin part, the second one is planner, the third one is persona. The meaning of plugin is if I want to retrieve any particular information within your semantic kernel as well as agentic AI, you can make use of plugin. We have various types of built-in plugins available. You may be able to customize your own plugin as well. That is one of the major component. The second major component with respect to your agentic AI is your planner. Planner is nothing but how are we going to use the entire plugins with the help of your semantic kernel through planner. So planner is going to respond to the user interaction with the help of your persona. So how personas are we going to carry it out throughout your semantic kernel approaches with the help of your flower braces? We will be carrying different types of persona. So these three components constitute together to form your agent. If you want to create any agent, these three components are ideally required. Plugins, persona, planner. In short, you can call it as three Ps, which is going to form an agentic AI framework in your semantic kernel approach. So what is the major prerequisite is required whenever you want to deploy any semantic kernel with the help of your C#.NET application development is you require an Azure subscription followed by your Azure OpenAI resource. You have to provision it. So under your Azure OpenAI resource, you will be creating a model with the GPT-4o deployment. So the GPT-4o deployment model, I have been provisioned it under your OpenAI services. Plus .NET SDK, you have to download the latest version of .NET SDK, download it. And along with that, you can make use of either Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. So these are the prerequisites that is required for your making any type of application using your semantic kernel. So let me show you the Azure portal. So under the Azure portal, what I have been provisioned is, so I have provisioned the Azure OpenAI resource. So you have to go for the Azure OpenAI resource, you click it, click the create button, then choose a subscription, start creating the resource group, provide which region you want to deploy this Azure OpenAI services, and you need to provide for the Azure OpenAI resource. Then you have to choose your pricing tier. Once it is done, you hit the button next, and then submit it. This will take hardly 2 minutes time to make the deployment successful. Once the deployment is successful, what we have to do is your resource has been created under your Azure OpenAI. You click this Azure OpenAI resource. So under this Azure OpenAI resource, you can notice there is an option known as go to the Azure OpenAI Studio. When you click this will be redirected to the Azure AI Foundry. So earlier time before Ignite, the Azure AI Studio we used to call it as, now it has been renamed as your Azure AI Foundry, along with a list of other services are also incorporated to the existing Azure AI Foundry itself. So under this Azure AI Foundry, we are going to create one deployment resource. How do you create a deployment resource? You just click the deployment. So when you click the deployment, there is an option known as deploy model. Under this deploy model, you have to deploy a base model. If I click the base model, you can choose the list of models for your deployment. So when I say choose the list of models, I have chosen the model as GPT-4o is the model I have been chosen. Then if you click this model deployed for GPT-4o is ready, you can ready to use your semantic kernel because you require two important information from your Azure OpenAI, which is the keys and endpoint. Along with the keys and endpoint, you take the keys from the resource management section, keys and endpoint, and you require one GPT-4o deployment model. These are the three essential stuff in order to make your own agent ready. If I want to create my own agent, look at that code under your C#.NET framework. The code says, how are you going to build a kernel? In order to build a kernel, you require one of the package. What is the package we require in the sense? The Microsoft semantic kernel package we require. This is the package you need for you want to build any type of kernel based applications. Then the second step is you start creating the kernel. How do you create a kernel? With the help of create builder method, and the class for the create builder method is a kernel class. Using this, you will be creating a kernel deployment. Once it is done, as I mentioned earlier in that third slide, the supported AI endpoints for your agentic AI was your OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, and Hugging Face. So here I have chosen the endpoint is Azure OpenAI interface, which you can notice that add Azure OpenAI chat completion. Under this add Azure OpenAI chat completion, the mandate we have to pass three parameters. One is the deployment name, which is a GPT-4o deployment, and endpoint and key from your Azure OpenAI resource. So these are three essential parameters you have to pass inside your add Azure OpenAI chat completion model. Once it is done, you need to build your kernel object with the help of the build method. Builder.build method is used to build your semantic kernel inside your .NET application development. So let's see the code approach in our C Sharp Visual Studio. So under this Visual Studio code, I have created a project named as a Travel Copilot is a project have been created. Under this, I have added two important packages inside this SLN framework. So if you notice that, so one of the package I have downloaded and installed is the Microsoft Semantic Kernel. I have been downloaded and installed it. And the second one is the Microsoft Semantic Kernel plugin, Scope plugin have been installed. So these two packages is installed as part of your Semantic Kernel Agentic AI framework. Once it is done, you go to that program.cs file. Under this program.cs file, you can notice this is your main method. Under this main method, we have created the builder object with the help of your create builder class, create builder method using a kernel class. And we have added the Azure OpenAI endpoint with the help of the method known as add Azure OpenAI chat completion. In this one, you passed three parameters. One is the deployment name. The second one is the API key. Third one is the endpoint. We pass these three parameters. Finally, we build the builder object with the help of your builder.build method. The very first one is using this await async method. Like this is the method. We can see that await kernel dot invoke prompt async method. So what was the prompt or what is the natural language prompt I have provided here is give me a list of breakfast foods with bread and cheese. This is the natural language prompt, and your agentic AI framework as a reasoning engine. Inside the agentic AI framework reasoning engine, whatever the natural language prompt you have given, this is going to hit your GPT-4o model. And the GPT-4o model by default, it has the large language model capabilities. From there, it will check that source from the online knowledge base. Accordingly, the results gets populated. If I execute this code, let's see, let me say .NET run the name of the program. If I started executing it, the natural language prompt what I have given is give me a list of breakfast foods with bread and cheese. So this particular natural language prompt is go and hit the reasoning engine. That reasoning engine will start at checking the deployment model of Azure OpenAI with the GPT-4. And that GPT-4 has various types of large language model capabilities. Then that large language model capabilities has a massive amount of data in their respective knowledge base. Based on that, the results started populating. You can see this grilled cheese sandwich, cheese toast, bagel with cream cheese, cheese egg breakfast sandwich. So with the help of cheese and the bread, you can make these are the list of sandwich items you can make it. This is a very simple way of executing your natural prompt along with your reasoning engine. Okay. Let's see a more detailed prompt, which is nothing but how are we going to build with respect to your plugins. There are different types of plugins you can see with respect to your semantic kernel. So when you see the different types of plugins, we have an HTTP plugin, text plugin, math plugin, conversation summary plugin, your time plugin, wait plugin is there, and the last one is file IO plugin. So these are the built-in types of plugins are available as part of the semantic kernel approach. So in this case, if you notice that if you want to build an application related to a HTTP plugin of semantic kernel, then you can go for your HTTP plugin. And similarly, if you want to use it as part of your any text-based manipulation or any text manipulation operation, you will be using your text plugin, you can use it. And math plugin is purely for the mathematical operation. If you want to use any mathematical operation, please make use of your math plugin. And the conversation summary plugin, if you want to say any conversation related to your customer engaging conversation or any of your conversation you're done with respect to your application, you can go for conversation summary plugin. Time plugin, if you want to get the current date and time, the next date and time, or the system date and time, you can go for the time plugin. And then avoid plugin, if you want to wait plugin, if I want to wait for a certain number of time period, you can go for wait plugin. Then any file related operation, you can go for file IO plugin. So these are the list of plugins that are available. Let's see that plugins one hands-on with respect to the VS Code application. So this time, what I will be doing is, this is your main method. I don't want to call any of the invoke prompt async method and all. I'm going to call the time plugin with the help of the static method called as myTime. MyTime is a static method here. Under this myTime, we have used the kernel object builder creation. So kernel object builder creation is done already. This is a part of your semantic kernel package. And now I have added a new plugin called as the core plugin. So in order to add the core plugin, you should use .NET add package core plugin. You have to add that. So what is that package name we have included is Microsoft Semantic Kernel plugins.core. This is the one we have added it. If you see this, uh, builder.plugins. So under this plugins interface, you can add your own built-in plugin. In order to add your own built-in plugin, we have to use one of the collection type method as add from type. So what type of plugin are we going to add from the from type is time plugin. That's a collection method. So under this collection method of time plugin, so what we have used is we are going to call one of the static method of this time plugin called as invoke async. Under this invoke async method, we call the time plugin. So time plugin has various types of parameters and the constants. So one of the parameter we called as days of week. Okay. And you are trying to print the current day of today. So how to call this one? So the name of the static method is myTime. You go to your main file. In the main file, you just call await the name of the name of the class. What is the name of the class? Program 001 is the name of the class. And what is the name of the method is myTime method. If you start executing the main class, which is your .NET run, the name of the program, .NET run, I'll say .NET run program. This is going to print today's day, which is the current day today is Saturday. Okay. This is related to built-in plugin. Okay. So what type of built-in plugin we use this? We use the built-in plugin as your time plugin. Similarly, if you want to perform anything related to a HTTP request and response, you can go for HTTP plugin. Any text manipulation or text operation, you can go for text plugin. Mathematical operation, math plugin. Summarization is your conversation summary plugin. Time we already discussed. Wait is the specified number of milliseconds, how much time you want to wait it. And anything file plugin, can go for file IO plugin. So I'll give one more code related to this is, let's say, look at this. This is the code for your conversation summary plugin. So for the conversation summary plugin also, what I have created here is, I have created my conversation. So my conversation is a static method of this class program 002. And under this my conversation class, my conversation method, we called the kernel builder creation is done. And again, we used one of the collection type is add from type. And we will call the interface name as plugins. So what type of plugin are we going to call now is conversation summary plugin we are going to call. Under this conversation summary plugin, so this is the actual natural language prompt. If you want to write any natural language prompt with respect to your conversation summary plugin, you have to use like this. So what we have, I'm using here, the prompt is @ is a symbol. I am a vegan in search of new recipes. I love spicy food. Can you give me a list of breakfast recipes that are vegan friendly? Earlier time, we got the list of breakfast of your both vegetarian as well as non-vegetarian. Now I was very specific to my conversation. What was my conversation? I was very specific is I need only vegan foods, not non-vegetarian foods. So in that case, what type of plugin we called this conversation summary plugin we have called it. And from that, I don't want to get all types of recipes need to be executed. Rather, what I have been provided here is I want to get the conversation topics alone. If I want to get the conversation topics alone, there is a parameter known as get conversation topics. Under this get conversation topic, whatever the input we passed, that input dot input comma, and you have to pass the input variable which is stored under one variable. So the input variable is stored under which variable, in the sense your conversation variable. So that variable you have to call it. And you can print the console.writeLine result method you can print. So what type of method we done all these types of conversation is my conversation. So if you want to call this, you go back to your main method. In the main method, what I will be doing is you comment this, let uncomment this, which is this one I'm going to uncomment it. Before I'm going to uncomment this particular stuff, what we will be doing is go back to the presentation. So in this presentation, you can notice whenever you want to create any prompt template, okay? So the way your semantic kernel SDK supports different types of prompt template. So how the prompt template has been supported in the sense with the help of the expression language. So how to make your expression language? The expression language can be made with the help of symbol. Using symbol, you can make your own responses are possible using symbol. So once the symbols, you are given the overall expression. And in order to embed your expression in your template based language, you have to use the expression language parameter. What is the expression language parameter? Double curly brace. You can have your list of expression or any conversation. And I have to close again the double curly brace as well. So this is a way you can create your own prompt template that is possible. So what are tips where you will be able to craft your prompt? In the sense, there are two important things you should require whenever you started crafting your prompt. One is you need to provide a specific input so that you will be able to yield the specific output. So why specific input as well as specific output is much needed in your prompt template? In the sense, whenever you started crafting, What is the outcome are you going to get if I used this prompt template? That particular question you should ask before you started making using of it. Okay. So let me execute this, then we will see the result of this application. What I will do now, I'm going to execute this particular code, .NET run, the name of the program. So here you can notice it is going to provide conversation about only the topics, not all the list of items. So what are the topic items since it is on a vegan? So it says vegan. Vegan is one of the topic. The second topic is recipes, and the third topic is a spicy food, and the fourth topic will be a breakfast. So these are the high level topics from our existing natural language prompt. It has been provided with the help of which plugin is conversation summary plugin. So using this conversation summary plugin, so what we have done is all their respective high level conversation topics, if you want to execute it, then use get conversation topics. So get conversation topics is a high level topic. You can get the overall topics which is produced from the conversation summary plugin. Apart from this get conversation topic, what are the things you will be able to get from the conversation topic is one is mm, get conversation action items. Okay. So get conversation action item is also one of the action of your conversation summary plugin. What we can make it is get conversation action items. This is one of the action. If I execute it now, you can check it out the result. So what action I have executed is now I executed the conversation summary plugin. From there, what are the action items it has to taken care? Who is the owner? What is the due date? Whether the status is open or not. Okay, you can see the action items. Similarly, one more actions you can perform from this, which is summarize conversation. Summarize conversation is also one of the action from the conversation summary plugin. Summarize conversation. Let me execute it. So what are three main things are we looking for is one is summarize conversation. Second one is your get conversation action items. Third one is get conversation topics. So these are the three actions we perform with the help of summary conversation summary plugin. The last part of the agentic AI creation is how are we going to use various types of persona inside the agentic AI framework. So if you notice the inside the agentic AI framework, assigning personas to your prompt will just going to improve the overall quality of the responses, which is ideally generated from the large language model. So whenever you are going for any large language model with respect to this agentic AI framework, please provide the persona. So when I say persona, always persona will should start with a symbol $. So $$ is the persona symbol which is going to start. For example, if you want to build any type of persona related to finance related project, you have to create a finance assistant. If you want to create a project related to travel tour, then you can create a travel assistance. If you want to create any project related to your retail based project, you will be creating a retail assistance. So various types of persona, then different types of industries we can create using a persona types in your semantic kernel. So let's see that particular approach. So what is the semantic kernel persona types I have used here is $. Okay, $. So what I'm asking the travel assistant. So we are going to create one travel assistance is our persona type. So in order to create a travel assistance for a persona type, So the natural language prompt I have given is create a list of useful phrases and words. And I have used the expression languages dollar. And what language, the English is there, and I'm going to use it inside the French. I'm a traveler, which is used to find useful. So usually this type of messages you will be using in your Azure AI Foundry as a system messages. System messages, which is nothing but your assistance related messages. So as a travel assistant, I don't know much about French. I'm asking that agentic AI framework give me a list of useful phrases. Since I went to the Paris city, I'm not sure about French. Whatever the English related words like there will be there, it will be converted into a French with the help of this type of persona types. Let me call the persona type here. So what I will do, the same part, execute as my prompt, .NET, run program. So since I'm going to travel to Paris, then it is going to provide a list of useful phrases in terms of English to French related personas. See, you can notice this. Here are some of the useful French phrases that works that a traveler might find useful. Bonjour, which is good morning or hello. Good evening is there. Thank you is mercy is there. Okay. So you can see how are you. So all helpful related phrases if you want to communicate any of your friends or colleagues or neighbors in French, you visited French, but you don't know much French about words. This will be a useful persona type. Okay. And also you can see there are some other varieties of things. There's also like direction. You want to identify which direction, like in terms of rupees, in terms of money. Then you need to provide your overall prompt in your travel assistance. I want to know about, give me some helpful phrases related to direction, helpful phrases related to currency related things that you can change inside the persona type. Okay. So if I want to summarize this, so what we have done is we have created the agentic AI framework with the help of semantic kernel approach. First, we talked about the avoid kernel async method. And then we done with your built-in plugins with respect to time plugin, summarization, conversation plugin, and we moved into the prompt templates. And final one, we discussed about the persona types. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. And any questions you can ask me now.
Yeah, there are few questions. I'll go one by one, okay?
Okay.
Um, First one is, let me share my screen so that at least there will be something visible on this. Okay, one question somebody has asked, he has not mentioned his name. What will be the cost and how do we calculate for this?
Good
Okay,
question. For this one, semantic kernel, we are not going to cast it. We whatever the endpoints are we using, because I use the endpoint as GPT-4o model, and you need to go for the GPT-4o model, the east to yes, whichever region you are there, that cost we have to calculate it. You need to open Azure OpenAI pricing model, which deployment model you used. Based on that, the cost will started calculating for your respective application. Semantic kernel, there is no cost. Whichever endpoint you consume and you are used in terms of the region as well as how much you consume, that pricing cost you can calculate.
okay. So meaning it's quite clear to me, and I hope or the one who has asked they also know the cost is there is no a specific cost for semantic kernel, but the cost is for the endpoint, which means like the Azure OpenAI endpoint which we are using. We have to calculate the cost according to our region. Yeah. So here is another question. What is semantic kernel and how can we develop the agent from other platform?
Yes. So now almost 10 platforms are be there for the semantic kernel. One is Azure OpenAI, OpenAI Hugging Face, Mistral AI. The
Uh,
other providers also started supporting the semantic kernel agent part. Not only Azure OpenAI, including OpenAI is supporting, Hugging Face is supporting, Mistral is supporting the semantic kernel.
Okay, this answers another question also. Can we build this agent with OpenAI? So yes, we can.
Yes.
And can we feed our own data and restrict the default data? This is another question.
Yes, we can. You can implement the multi-agent and we can restrict the data. That is possible.
Okay, so this is all I can see the question, and there is no further question. So I think we can move to our next session. Anything final thought you have from your side, Janardhanan?
Thank you so much, Rizwan and Satya, for providing me the opportunity, and looking forward to collaborate in the upcoming events as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Actually, we got a lot of information from this session. We know about what is semantic kernel, how to implement it, and how we can customize or we can create agent according to different persona. The session was really great, and the recording will be shared later into the YouTube. You'll be able to see those. We will post that as well. Now I'd like to move to another session from Miss Gomathi, Dr. Gomathi. This is level up your business central development with GitHub Copilot, essential tips and techniques. I think she should be here already. Yeah. Hi,
Yeah,
Miss.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
hi,
topic.
Rizwan.
Yeah. So topic itself. It means like the business central. We are talking about the ERP, right?
Yes, exactly. It's an ERP.
Okay. So this topic actually I'm also interested because recently I was doing some kind of small modifications in ERP solution.
Great.
So that will help me as well. So now
Mhm.
you can share your screen and you can continue.
Sure, sure. I hope my screen is visible here.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, great, great. Thank you so much. Hey, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining. So, we are going to look into how we can use GitHub Copilot in Business Central in order to develop Business Central. Okay. So, this is a small introduction about myself. I'm Dr. Gomati. I'm a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional under two categories, award category, that is business application and data platform. I'm a doctorate in machine learning, and I'm also a Microsoft Learn expert. I hold India and Asia Book of Record. I'm a global speaker, national and international patent holder as well. So I have published two books. One is on this is specifically on Business Central. So one is for the functional, and that is mastering Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central through ABRIS. And this book is recently released. I think on November 5th or 6th it has been released. That is Dynamics 365 Business Central Developer Certification Companion, which is on MBA 20 examination. So today we'll be understanding Business Central. I'm not sure everybody know what is Business Central, or a few might be new to Business Central. So I will give a small introduction about Business Central and also GitHub Copilot. And then I'll just let you know how to set up your business and GitHub Copilot for Business Central and essential features like why you should have GitHub Copilot for Business Central specifically for AL development. And then we will move on to the tips for maximizing the productivity with the Copilot. So this is overview about Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So Dynamics 365 Business Central is a comprehensive ERP. So as Rizwan mentioned, like it's a enterprise resource planning solution specifically designed by Microsoft for a small and medium-sized business. So this actually offers a wide variety of operations like financial management, supply chain management, sales, and project operations, and everything, like almost many things where a business really required. So the key features like finance, which is which automates accounting, invoicing, and financial reporting. Sales and services, which enhances customer engagement, sales management, operations like streamlining the manufacturing process, and also it tracks resources, timelines, and the budgets as well. So it has a seamless integration, which integrates with Microsoft 365, almost all the Microsoft 365 products, Power Platform, Azure services, as well as like we can, if you wanted to integrate with some other third party, yeah, as well, it's possible. And Business Central is extendable through a customization and the third party apps as well. So this is a small introduction about Business Central. And to talk about GitHub. So GitHub Copilot. So GitHub is an AI. So we all know GitHub, which is basically a repository, right? Like we'll be using GitHub for storing our data for a proper version management and everything. But specifically to talk about GitHub Copilot, which is an AI powered code, which is developed assistant, like AI powered assistant developed by GitHub and OpenAI. So this helps developers to write code faster and with the fewer errors. Okay, so because I cannot say it's 100% error free because it's an AI. So we have to again rework on it. If sometimes it will give you 100% error free code, but always we cannot like we cannot rely on that. So the key features of GitHub Copilot is like a code suggestion. Sometimes it will give you, not sometimes, it will provide a real-time code completions and recommendations. And context awareness. Okay, this understands the project context and suggests relevant code snippets. It also provides a multi-language support. It's not only for AL. AL is an application language programming for Business Central. Likewise, we have various other programming languages as well, right? Like Python, starting from Python. We have various other languages. GitHub Copilot also supports those languages. This also improves over time with usage patterns. So GitHub Copilot has the learning capability. It also learns and gives you the proper, it improves its response over a time. Okay. So it helps developers to boost productivity by automating repetitive tasks, like by helping a clean and efficient code, assist in learning new syntax and concepts. So if we wanted to use Business Central now, coming up to the next topic, which is what setting up GitHub Copilot for Business Central. How can you set up? First thing is you need a GitHub account. Okay. So first thing, this is the GitHub Copilot feature. Okay. Let me just try to share it in the chat if you want to use that, if you want to see that with me. So this is the first thing is what, like it's like you have to create an account in the GitHub Copilot. Okay, I'm just sharing it here. So the second thing is I think you might have received it. Okay, great. So the second thing is what, like here you can see on the right side, like how we'll be creating a GitHub. Even if you have a GitHub account, yes, it's fine. You have to go and log in here. Okay, so how you'll be creating it? You require a GitHub account, like GitHub Copilot account. Okay, so here you can see this is the complete, this is the website for GitHub Copilot. Okay, so you can explore like what are the various languages it supports. This is the pricing for that. Okay, so Copilot individual, it's $10, and you can start with a free trial to learn how it works. And it's for business, it's $19, and for Copilot Enterprise, it's $39. Okay, so you can see like what are the various other other options, like other programming languages which it supports. Okay, so this is the GitHub Copilot by GitHub. So you can see the complete information here. Okay, so whenever you get time, just go through this and understand how this GitHub really works with various other languages as well. And next one is you need a Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is actually a it's an IDE, okay, which is an integrated development environment which is used. I'll share my screen with the Visual Studio Code. Okay, Visual Studio Code where you can develop. That IDE actually supports multiple languages. Okay, the thing is like you have to install the extensions and use it. And the third thing which you want to do is what you should have Business Central account. and it should be configured. You should have AL language extension installed in it. Okay, so these things which you should be aware of. So you have to be ready with all these things, like GitHub Copilot account you have to create, Visual Studio Code should be installed. In Visual Studio Code you have to install AL language extension as well as the GitHub Copilot extension. Okay, so these are the essential features which I told. It's autocomplete and code suggestions. It works. Okay, writing AL extension faster. You can also be aware of debugging and error handling as well. So optimizing the queries and data access, real world examples, like you can create it, reusable codes. Okay, so we will just come back to this, like what are the tips to creativity and everything. Let me just share my screen, reshare my screen for the VS Code. Okay. Mm, yes, I hope my VS Code screen is visible. So this is what I told. Okay, on the right corner, you can see there is. I'm just showing I'm just moving my mouse. Just look into my mouse. On the right corner, you can see there is a Show Copilot status menu. Okay, so if you click on that, you can see there is a Copilot status menu is available. So this is status ready. So here you can download the extensions. So as I told, first thing you want is what? Visual Studio Code, a GitHub account, and the AL extension. So here in this extension, you have to install GitHub Copilot extension as well. So this one. Okay, so this one you have to install. This is GitHub Copilot. So this extension is directly available in your Visual Studio Code. Once if you go install Visual Studio Code, you can find this option here. So click on this extension and type GitHub Copilot. Okay, once if you type, you can find GitHub Copilot available. Just click install. Okay, it will take little time to install, so that's why I have already installed it. Okay, so here you can click and install it. So this is what GitHub Copilot. So once you have installed, you can see like it will show you like yes, it's installed, and sometimes you have to upgrade it. Better enable auto upgrade. Okay, and the second thing which you want to install is what? AL coding. Okay, AL extension. You just need to be installed if you wanted to configure with your Business Central. So this extension is used to connect. You have to configure this properly with the JSON configurations and everything. Okay, so these two extensions are mandatory. So now let's try out um, a simple prompt here. So you can see that once I have pressed this, like once I have pressed this, it is showing me press Control I to ask GitHub Copilot to do something. So you should get this message only if you're getting this message, which means that your GitHub Copilot has been installed successfully. Okay, so once if you press Control and I, it will be ready to hear you. Okay, either you can attach a document here. You can see you can attach something from the code base or anywhere from your symbol or something, or else you can record it. Okay, you can do this chat voice, like you can start your voice chat, and here it is using all these things like Claude or GPT or what you want. You can just go ahead with these are all the preview, and only GPT-4 is fine. So let us just start asking Copilot to create something for us. Okay, so you have to enter a prompt. Again, a prompt is like language which you want to interact with the AI. Okay, if you want to talk to AI, we cannot talk in a you have to talk it in a simple English language, but it should not include any jargons or something. Okay, so it should be clear and everything. So let me just ask Copilot to create a table. Okay, I am just let me just simply ask. I'm asking GitHub Copilot to create a table. I hope this is visible. Let me just make it even more bigger. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to ask Copilot to create a table to store employee data. Okay, I'm just telling create a table to store employee data. And I'm pressing enter. So what it is happening is what Copilot is understanding what I'm trying to do. Okay, and see, it's a magic. So Copilot is automatically creating a table for me. So this is what the structure of my AL programming. So the AL programming, and if you are into any Python language or any other programming language, little it differs. Okay, AL differs because it is specifically designed for ERP. Okay, and Microsoft Business Central. So here you can see this is what actually required. Okay. So table, this is my table as I told to create a table, and this is the ID. Okay, ID for the table, and this is the table name. And you can see it has created for employee what are the relevant fields which are required, like employee ID is required, first name, last name, date of birth, position, salary. Okay, so and also it has created a primary key which is a mandatory one. Okay, so here I have given very generic prompt, that is create a table to store employee data. So if you want to be very specific, like because why it is still even more it is highlighted, I haven't accepted it. If you just see my mouse cursor, I haven't accepted or I haven't discarded. I'm just waiting for it. Okay. So what you can do is what if you're not planning to accept, you can even more refine it. Okay. So if you want to refine, for example, create a table name employee with these fields, you can specify the fields here. Okay, let me just discard it here. Again, I'm going to type a prompt with a specific with a very specific fields and everything. See, I have entered. Okay, this is what I have entered. I have entered like create a code. Okay, create a table named books with fields ISBN code 220. I am also mentioning that I want to create a field with this particular data type and this particular length. You have to specify that. And once if you're fine, you can just press ready. So what happens here, it is creating me all the things which are specified, like what I have added. So what I have told, all these things which are created, like with the ISBN number, ISBN title, author, and a price. Okay. So if you wanted to add few more things, okay. So add more, few more fields which are required to manage books. I'm just entering this, add few more fields which are required to manage the books. So what happens here? It is writing here because we haven't deleted it, right? So it has added fields because I didn't tell, right? Rewrite the table structure. Okay. I just told like add the fields. So this is what I told. GitHub Copilot is an AI. You cannot always expect that it will understand and do it. And what the prompt you're giving, it should be clear. Okay, the prompt you're giving should be clear. So in this case, what I should have given, rewrite the table. Okay, rewrite the code by adding. Okay, so let us also try that. Let us see whether it is giving me all these things. So it has added publisher, publish date, journal, and pages. So I'm just trying to write it here. Rewrite the complete code in a proper format. Okay, I'm just giving. Let me see whether it can rewrite and do it. Okay, so whether it is actually rewriting it or it is yes. So it has rewritten all these code and it has given me in a proper format. Okay, so this is what very important when you are trying to write any, not only for this, okay, not only for the Copilot AI. The thing is like you have to just see how to write, how to explain the things, how to reiterate or refine your prompt to your AI. So the first thing is why I'm saying you have to give a simple request. Okay, the first thing you can see, I just told to create an employee table. So it has created an employee table. So here you are trying to understand how this AI is actually responding you. The second thing is, then I have told that, okay, so create this table with these fields. So what happens? It gave me few fields. And then I'm telling that please add these two, like, because since I'm not aware of what are the other fields which the books, to in order to manage a book, what are the other fields I should have. So what I told, okay, add more fields which are relevant to this. So what happened, it has added few more fields for me, but not in a proper structure. So again I have refined my uh, prompt. Okay, this is what the prompt, how you have to write the prompts. So let me just discard it. Okay, if you just discard it, it will again go back to your original position. So this is for writing a table. Okay, so creating a table. Likewise, you can create a page. Okay, so those who are new to Business Central, so table, page, coordinate, procedures, table extension. So these are the objects in the Business Central. So let me just try to create a table. Okay, so sorry, pages. So I'm just telling create a list page for the books table with all the fields and a search bar. So let me just try to add this. So what it is telling is what I haven't created the book page. Okay, so previously I should have just entered, press enter, like, and I should have saved it, but I didn't created anything. So what happens is, as I told, create a list page for the books table. Okay, so what happens, it has used this property source table. Okay, and it has added books. So books is actually not there, so that's why it's telling like table book is missing. Okay, because we haven't created the table. But since I told that books table, you have to add, like you have to get the reference for the book as the book table, source table as the book table. So it has added the books as a source table. Okay, and you can also see that there is a something like it has created some repeater, and it has created the book id, title, everything, like whatever we need it. Okay, and if you feel like no, like these repeaters are allowed only for few types of pages. Okay, so that's why it is showing some errors, and because of this error, okay, if you want to restructure it, okay, if you want to restructure this, you can also do this. Okay, so this is for creating a book, like a page. Okay, if you want to create a page, you can also create it with the help of a GitHub. So now let us try to write a code in it. So what is that code unit? A code unit is actually used to create a business logic. Okay, so what we will do, we will not write the logic in the page or in the table. We will create it as a code unit, and whenever we need it, we will call it. So I want to write a business logic. Let me just write it. Write a code unit named book management with a function to calculate the total price of books with given discount percentage. Just press enter. So what happens here? So it will generate a complete code unit, and I have told that it has to do this logic. Okay, it has to calculate the logic called total price of books with a given discount percentage. So what it considered it is what, so we have to calculate the discount price. So here you can see this is the book it has found, like it is referring to that book. From that book it is trying to bring in, and also it is calculating the total price based on the discount percentage. Okay, so it is also providing the complete code. The error here is what, we don't have the table called book. Okay, that is why it is showing some error. So that's not a problem, but it has created a proper logic here, business logic to calculate. Okay, so that is what, as I have mentioned, like AI can leave mistake. Okay, so it will not give you 100% perfect code, and it cannot think like whether the book is already there, whether the book table is already created or not. All these things it cannot think. Okay, so it is always good to feel like AI is assisting you, but it don't know everything. Okay, let this is to create a simple code unit. Okay, likewise, if you want to create any logic, okay, any tedious logic or any complex logic, if you give some clear prompt to it, it can definitely do it. Okay, you have to give a clear prompt for that. So this is one thing, and also you can just write another any logic. Okay, so to calculate the if For example, if the person who has lent the book, okay, so he's not returning back within this particular date, they have to be reminded. Okay, so even for that you can write the logic here. Okay, so let us try to create a next one, which is a report generation. Because why I'm just going to the next next prompt is what you should know how to write everything. Okay, every objects. Okay, so the next one is the report generation. So I'm just asking to create a report for books that lists title, author, and the price grouped by author. So I'm just pressing enter. So what happens, it is generating me this particular book report, so report page for me. Okay, it is creating a complete report program. Okay, this is the book, captions and everything, even including usage category, and sorting, because we have asked to sort it. Okay, sort based on the author, and the error is because again we don't have a table called book, and also we don't have any field called author. So that's why it's showing these things. Okay, so you can see other than that everything are correct. Okay, and we also told to group based on the author, so it has created a group block, which is to create a based on the author. Okay, and also it has created some layouts for us. Everything is actually according to me, most of the things are correct. That the only thing is like reports has a different type of code snippet. They have changed it, and since it is using the previous snippet, so that's why it's showing some error. Okay, because we are, since we are using a chat gpt, okay, so it has don't have any specific thing. 1 minute, I'm okay. So this is what if you want to sort it, so you can see here that everything is fine. And if you see a report layout, okay, this is actually the report layout. Okay, if you just type t report, you can see the report complete layout. Actually the layouts and the request page you have, and the rendering options are there. So these snippets, this is actual snippet. Okay, this output is not provided by github. I am just trying to show you the layout of the report. So this is the layout of the report, and how it is actually working. But ChatGPT, since it's the ChatGPT, right? It don't have the it only stores the previous type of previous structure. That's why it is showing like this. Okay, so this is the one which is the which is for the reports, and how this reports actually works here, and how you can use all these AL codes and business central reports for business central, sorry, GitHub for business central. So let us just try with other possible options as well. Let me just delete this. Okay, and let us try to give some other prompts specifically for okay, I just wanted to add a trigger. Okay, um, create a page. Okay, create a table um, with for the book, to store book data. And I'm also telling to add on insert trigger to the books table to validate that ISBN is unique. So whenever someone is trying to, and like whenever you're trying to create a table, so it should store the data, book data. So it should have all the book related data. Okay. But whenever someone is trying to insert a new data, it should first go and validate that whether the ISBN number which we are entering is unique. Okay. So I'm just giving this because I'm also insisting on the triggers. Okay. So what is creating is what it is also creating a book ID and everything. And also it is creating an on insert. Okay, trigger on insert. It's a book record. And if get ISBN book record or get ISBN, then error a book with this ISBN as already exist. Okay. So that is what this is also like, it is, you have to add it. Okay, so you have to tell like what exactly you want, how it has to write. Okay, how it, so if you wanted to write a validation, so write a field validation. Okay, um rewrite the code by including the field validation for book ID. Okay, or book ID, you can also make it as an author or ISBN or price. Okay, let's have a price. Okay, book for price. Okay, I'm just telling to rewrite the code by including the field validation. Field validation in the sense, even for each and every field, we can write the validation code. Okay, you have to write the field validation. So that is what I'm just trying to tell. So you can just press, you can see that it has been, the code has been rewritten, and as I told, it's for book ID. So it has included the trigger outside. Okay, this trigger has to be included inside the book ID field. Okay, so this has to be inside the book ID field. So you have to cut and paste it here, because since it's not there inside that, so that's why it's showing some error. Okay, so yes. So this is what, like, whenever even we are trying to rewrite it, sometimes it won't give you the proper response, because it is not aware of the changes happening within AL, because it may take some time to understand the changes which is happening. So that's why it's always good to it's always good to have it's always good to check whether it is properly updated. If you are new to the business like central and the AL programming is what you can do is, you can just, if you are not aware of where the block should be and how it has to be placed, you can just create a snippet. You can create one more thing and try to see the snippets. Okay, how to see the snippets? Simply type for T table, it's T table. So it will tell you the snippets. Okay, so this is how a snippet will be. So you can understand where this field level, where this table level triggers comes in. Okay, so the simple thing is you have to just check and try. And as this is for the trigger, and if you wanted to input any validations for the price field, like you can also ask to write the function. Okay, so I am just asking this, even if you are just simply typing here the code, write a function to validate that the price field in the books table is greater than 0, because no book should be less than 0. Okay, so it should not be even equal to 0. So I'm just trying to write a function to validate that the books are greater than 0. So here it will write a procedure. You can see that trigger on validate price is greater than 0. Again, we asked for a procedure, but it's a follow-up question, right? After the trigger question. So it has created a trigger here for us. Okay, so if you want to be very specific, like no, you have to write a procedure, then that too is possible. Okay, so you can write it accordingly. Like this, you can create anything, like any object. Like if you wanted to write a query object, you can simply say, like, write a query. So it should be very clear. Okay, so if you want to discard, and you can just start a new one. Write a query to fetch all books with a price greater than 500 sorted by the title. So I just told that, yes, you have to do this. Okay, so it is telling me this. Okay, so this is possible. Now let me just try to accept this change. Okay, no, let me just go ahead and create one table and try to accept the change, and it will generate some code for me. Okay, so I'm just creating the previous table which we have created, right? Let me just discard, and I'm just trying this one. Okay, it is creating a book table for me, price, right? So I am going to accept this. Okay, accept, and you can see this. So it's showing some error because this table ID is already taken. So that's why it's showing this particular error. And now I'll just press enter, and if I just started thinking, like what you have to type or what you want to go ahead with. If you just start typing something, okay, like auto increment, fine. See, I didn't type anything is equal to true, but it automatically it is telling me that it's is equal to true. Just press tab. Okay, so auto increment true is not possible for the code value. That is why it is showing error. So if you wanted to write anything, it will give you some suggestions for you. Okay, if I'm just typing tree trigger on what? So ISBN validation. I'm just typing something like ISBN validation. And once, okay, validation is already there. Okay, tree trigger and on validate. I think it's the only option on validate. You can just tell what you have to validate. Okay, so on validate is the only trigger. So I am just keeping my cursor here and I wanted to find if. Okay, I just told if. So what happens based on this if it has written these codes. Okay, I haven't written all these length value not equal to 13. I didn't do anything. Okay, it has generated for me. You can simply press tab if you wanted to get it. Okay, but sometimes it will show you length. Okay, this is not the name, length is not in the current context, so it's telling this error. If you want to rectify this, you can do this, or else if you don't want this, if you can delete, if you delete this, it is telling something else. Okay, if ISBN is not equal to empty, okay, then it is giving you some suggestions, right? It is giving you some suggestions. Again, it is giving you a big code. If length of ISBN is not equal to 13, then error ISBN must be 13 character long, because it should be 13 character long. Okay, if not, try str to int. If it is not, like you have to convert str to int. So everything, it is giving you the complete code for you. Okay, as I told, because GitHub Copilot is it's not an updated one, in the sense it cannot understand the recent changes in business end. Okay, and because every wave, whenever business central, they will be releasing the changes in two waves. Okay, so wave one will be starting from Feb towards June, and wave 2 will be from August towards November or December. So there will be a lot of changes happening, where few functions will be deprecated, few functions they'll be introducing new, and few snippets might be changing often. Like snippets in the sense your code blocks, how the code block should be. Everything they'll be changing often. Okay, so those often cannot be easily adopted by ChatGPT and also by the GitHub Copilot. So it assumes that the previous functions which are already they have told is what the correct one, and you will be getting the same set of things. Okay, so this is what, like, you should be very aware of, like, what is the changes you have to do. If it is not a correct one, like length is cannot be used here, because why it is not finding, because it is trying to find a different data type. So if you want to delete, if you don't want to go ahead with that, you can just delete it. Okay, or you can even click here fix using Copilot. Okay, so you can copy the error and paste it here. Again, I'm telling it's up to, okay, it's okay, see, it is fixing it. I'm not doing anything, it is actually fixing it. Okay, just press accept. See, again I'm doing, here you can just click on try str to int. Okay, so here you can see fix using Copilot. I hope you all can see my screen. Just click fix using Copilot and just wait. Okay, what happens, it is automatically doing all the edits here. Okay, it has changed. Now again you can click on that particular, you have to accept if you want to accept it, and then again keep it here. And you have this error. Okay, if this error, if it is not, it's not like, it's not a overload. No overload for the method copy takes 3 arguments, because we are trying to pass 3 arguments. That is the issue here. So if you wanted to fix this, you can just simply ask Copilot to fix it. Few fixing is not possible directly with the help of a Copilot. So you have to again go ahead and search for the Google or your documentations and then come back. Okay, and let me just add one more thing here. So here, if you wanted to add one more thing, like for example, if I wanted to add a error handling for the function, okay, for error handling for, I'm just simply telling add error handling methods. Okay, so let's see like what it is going to do. It is actually writing an error handling method for using the procedure. Okay, so it's a procedure validated ISBN format, and it is trying to do something for me. And as I told, it will just consider sometimes if you have already written, it will consider the last line as to create the code snippet, or sometimes it will create it from the first place where your cursor is. Okay, so you should be, of course, it can't give you 100% proper and the perfect output. Sometimes, like whenever there is a often used validations, it can often used code procedures, it can suggest you. Okay, it can even suggest you the field and methods. So for example, I'm just typing T table. Okay, and I'm just giving some ID, and I'm just giving probably items. Okay, I just want to store the manufacturing items. Okay, I'm just giving the table name as the manufacturing items. So for example, you can just start with the manufacturing ID. Okay, and once if you press enter, okay, and you can start with the T field. And if you want to add something here, which ID you wanted to start. Okay, manufacturing, it's actually waiting the product. Okay, and what is this? It's actually the text. Okay, it's a text, and it is automatically telling me this is 50. Okay, and then you can just start typing something else. See the next field, it is telling me. So the previous two fields, it didn't tell anything because it is trying to listen and understand what field we really require. Okay, based on that, it is suggesting me the third field. And if I press enter, it will also suggest me the fourth field. But if it cannot understand what is a field it has to give us, it will just tell me like my field. Okay, if you want to add it, you can add it. Got it? This is what. So three things, as I told, you need a GitHub Copilot. So here you can see status ready. It should be there. Okay, and you can also click here, GitHub Copilot chat. So on the right side, you can see there is a chat available here. So if you wanted to fix the problems in my code, it will just go ahead and search for the complete code. Okay, and it will tell you, it is asking you what key definition should I ask. So what is the definition you wanted to add? Because it is not finding anything here. Okay, so even if you want to fix your code, that is your code is here, but you want to fix it something, it will tell you. And if you wanted to add unit tests for my code, if you wanted to add any test unit test for your code, you can do it. Or if you want to understand how the selected code works, so I'm just selecting this code or something like, and I'm asking this, how does this code works? So it is giving me the complete information about how this code works and what is data classification, what is to be classified, and everything. So this is what the power of GitHub Copilot within AI programming. And the thing which I really faced with the GitHub Copilot is what really it helps a lot of efforts, like whatever, many things it helped me to understand. Okay, so this is what the suggestion, like tips and tricks in order to give your GitHub Copilot how you have to write the prompts. So the first thing is what you have to give clear and descriptive prompts. Okay, so you should not overload GitHub, like you should not overload the AI by giving lot of prompts. Okay, so you should be very clear, and you should give the proper prompts for that. Okay, so that is what, do not give a smart give a clear descriptive prompts. Okay, that is the first one which I wanted to insist specifically on the writing your prompts. Okay, it should be like, it should be meaningful, and like generate a function to calculate invoice total with discounts. It's simple. Okay, the second important thing is leverage Copilot for repetitive task. So you can leverage it for your repetitive task. For example, like if you want to create 12 tables, instead of writing, starting giving your field name, triggers, everything, it's good to go ahead with the GitHub Copilot. Okay, so customize Copilot settings. So you have Copilot settings. You can adjust the preferences in the Copilot in the Visual Studio Code. You can enable or disable Copilot for the specific file types. So combine Copilot with AL extension. So the thing is like you have to use the AL language extension alongside Copilot for enhanced productivity. And it's good even if you're using Python. Even if you're using, so GitHub now supports I think nearly 30 languages. So under these languages you can use that. Okay, and review and refine the suggestions. So as I showed you, you have to review it first, see how it is actually responding and refine it. Okay, learn from Copilot's suggestion. So first understand what Copilot is telling and then try to learn it. Okay, what I always most of the people what I saw is whatever the GitHub Copilot gives, even if it is a chat GPT, they will exactly accept that and they will move on. So that's not the case. You have to learn from that. If you don't know any specific thing, but if GitHub Copilot or any chat GPT is giving up, just understand, learn it from there. Okay, so balance automation with the manual coding. So you have to balance both. You should not always rely on GitHub. Sometimes it may not work. Okay, sometimes might be due to that is a over traffic or lot of load. It may not work. So don't always rely on any of these AI, but use Copilot to speed up task, but avoid over reliance. Okay, so maintain control over logic and design decisions and report and handle limitations. You can provide a feedback on irrelevant suggestions. So there will be some hands up like a like or dislike button. You can just give some suggestions on that. And you can also collaborate with the co-pilot and teams. Okay, so you can also collaborate this with the teams as well. You have that, and stay updated on the features as well. Okay, so these are the study resources for if you are preparing for the Business Central. You can just sign up to this channel and you can learn about Business Central. And thank you all for your patience. And if you want to connect with me, you can find the LinkedIn page here. So you can connect with me here. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much, Rizwan, for your for accepting my session here. And also just actually I am just seeing the message, sorry, because
Mm,
I have twin kids, so I've been taking care of them and seeing this, listening to Janardhanan's session.
uh-huh.
And once the session my session was about to start, I just quickly came out of the room in order to attend that. So sorry, I just missed your welcome message. Thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you, Gomati, for the wonderful session. Actually, I also came to learn a lot of things about BC as well. Recently, I was trying to do something with the Business Central, so I was interested. I'm interested as well. And you, yes, we do understand, about all, having kid and doing this contribution. Actually, I must say you are a super mom as well as you must be doing a lot of sacrifice as well to get
Yeah.
this.
Correct, correct.
Yes, yes. Because
Thank
we
you so
also
much. Yeah.
we
Yeah, yeah.
recently also became a parent, like me and
Oh,
my wife,
great.
and
Congratulations.
and yeah, we both are MVP as well. So it's very hard
Oh,
now
great.
to to very hard to come into contribution. Yeah. But
Yes,
still,
yes.
I have there are few questions for you.
Yes,
I'll try
please.
to just go quickly because already
Yes,
I
yes, please.
think Nandip and Smita is already here. So one guy is asking, can we download the book for free? The books you shared.
Which book? No, it's actually April's books, right? So
Yeah.
it has to be purchased because I cannot, even I don't have the free download here. I have this
Yes.
only the hard copy, so I cannot do that.
Yes. Yes. So obviously, that book has some valuable information, and
Yeah.
also Gomati has put a lot of his effort to write the book, and also there is a express. So obviously, we need to buy that book.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
One another question is, can we create a development environment for Business Central to learn?
Yeah, development environment. We have actually production and the sandbox environment. Usually, I'm talking about the on-premise. Okay, so we have two thing. One is sandbox and one is an like cloud and on-premise. So in cloud, we have two environments, that is sandbox and the production environment. So
Uh,
sandbox means you will be trying everything.
mm,
You have to like before giving, before delivering it to anyone, we have to try everything and do it right. So that is what the sandbox environment. And the production environment, once your product, the thing is released. So might be frank to say, I'm not completely into the project. I'm just taking care of the training, all the trainings, okay, like Business Central, Power App, Power Automate,
mm,
Tableau, Power BI. So this is what I'm doing, but I'll be a part of the project, not the end-to-end project. So
mm.
when they deploy, I won't be into the picture, because definitely I'll be there in the training during that time. So I won't commit completely into project.
Okay. So there is another question. How to deploy those AL file to Business Central? This is again related with the deployment.
No. This is what, like, once you save it, we have
Uh,
to, yeah, we'll be compiling it. Like as we do it in C or Python, we'll be pressing Control F5. So
mm,
it will create it as an extension. Okay.
mm,
And
mhm.
it will open it in the Business Central.
Okay.
So once saved and executed, you have a launch.json file where the complete configurations will be, and from there it'll be directly deployed into the Business Central.
Okay, I think okay, but there are few questions as well, like how is GitHub Copilot is going to take the job of BC developers?
Of
It's
course, no.
obviously no. Yeah, it's obviously
Of
no.
course, no. No one should worry about it, because in order to train AI, there is a need of a human. Okay, someone who has developed, but you have to train. And don't worry about that AI will overtake you. Please, always be upgraded with all the latest technology, so that any no AI can replace you.
Yes, so this is also my feedback to anyone. Like,
Yes.
if Copilot or AI is not going to take the job, but the one who has the knowledge with the Copilot and
Correct.
GitHub might replace the one who don't have.
Yes,
That can be
correct.
only the things can happen. Yeah. So thank you once again, Gomati, and for this wonderful session. Now I'd like to move to our next session because Nandeep and Smita both are here. They might be already waiting.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy parenting, Rizwan. Looking
Thank
forward.
you. You
Yeah.
also take care of your kids.
Thank you. Thank you. Sure.
Thank you. So yes, I think Nandeep and Smita already here. Hi, Nandeep.
Yeah.
Hi, Smita. How are you?
Hi, Rizwan. Good, good. How about you? And congratulations.
Thank you. So
Congratulations.
thank you. And yeah, you both are already, so popular in the LinkedIn, even lots of other platforms. So you both need no introduction. Still, I have to say here. So welcome both of you, Smita and Nandip. And today we will, they both of you, both of they will be sharing, explore the future of coding with GitHub Copilot. This is very interesting topic, and it's I mean revolving all around the internet. GitHub Copilot, future of coding, future of developers. So now floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And just coming back to the part of being popular. So it's not at all we are popular. It's just your love. Keep showing us
Yes.
that love. Okay. All right. So with that, let's get started. Firstly, thank you very much for organizing this, Rizwan and Satya. So thank you very much for organizing this and inviting us here. So again, mostly like we are pretty much excited to showcase our session, like how we can explore the future of coding with GitHub Copilot. I guess most of the part is already covered by Dr. Gomati as well as Janandan, but at least I will see like, or at least we'll see like how far we can go and give you some more kind of an angle. So just to set the context for this particular session, like it is kind of an pretty much exciting time that we have got, wherein we start developing alongside the AI as our pair programming. And again, probably I was looking at the question that you mentioned, like can Copilot take our job? Probably no, Copilot will not take our job, but it is just our AI pair programmer, so that it is kind of a trusted source which we can go to and then probably start developing our solutions. Okay, so one thing for sure is like this is Copilot, this is not autopilot, so it will not take your job, but it is just there to help you by writing some nicer code. Again, there are various flavors of Copilot as well, but specifically today that we are going to look into GitHub Copilot. Okay, so obviously GitHub Copilot it kind of and brings the excitement to the developer by giving the code completion suggestions in various languages, as well as it will help you to do some debugging part as well, many more things. Okay, so maybe we can just imagine a world where writing the code feels like collaborating with the intelligent kind of a partner that you have got when you are struggling through the lines of syntax. So in those cases, GitHub Copilot will definitely help you to bring bring us as a developer very much closer to the reality by using that cutting edge AI technology to assist all of the developers in their coding journey. Okay, so GitHub Copilot in simple word is your AI powered coding assistant, which is developed by GitHub in collaboration with OpenAI, and it is designed to help developers write code more efficiently with fewer errors. I'm saying fewer errors because it might make some errors. Okay, so it is just the Copilot. So it may make the error, but obviously it can help you write more efficient code with few errors by providing the code suggestions, auto completions directly within the IDEs, the integrated developer environment that you use, for example, Visual Studio Code, and many more. Okay, so in this particular session, uh, we'll explore about how the GitHub Copilot works. Again, kind of a potential impact that it has got when we write our code, and again, what are the exciting kind of possibilities that can open up for the future of software development. Okay, so this is what we are going to look into. Before we start the session, quick introduction. Myself, Nandadeep Nathan. I am from Pune, India. I'm Microsoft MVP as well as author of these three books, including SharePoint Framework, SharePoint Hybrid, and Viva Connections. At the same time, for example, if you want to get in touch with me, you can give me a shout on Twitter, LinkedIn, or maybe you can look at my blogs or YouTube videos. Okay, and with me today is Smita.
Hello all, myself Smita Nachan. I'm from Pune, India. So greetings from Pune. I'm working as a Microsoft 365 consultant, having total 16 plus years of experience. I'm a Microsoft MVP as well as author and speaker of these two books. These are some of my social handles by which you can get in touch with me.
All right, so with that, let's have a look at the agenda that we are going to cover today. So we'll just have overview of GitHub Copilot. I know you must have gone through this multiple times, but we will still just revise the GitHub Copilot concept. We will see the prompt engineering with GitHub Copilot, various key features as well as capabilities given by that. Again, we will have a look at specifically about GitHub Copilot chat, and then again how we'll be able to install, set up this GitHub Copilot in Visual Studio Code. And then again, obviously, we'll be writing some code with GitHub Copilot. And then main thing that we are going to discuss here is about GitHub models, okay? Because GitHub models, they are recently launched, not very recently, but at least 3 to 4 months back. And then again, they will help you to choose the model that you want in GitHub to write the code and then do the work from there. Okay, so this is the agenda that we have got today. All right, so with that, let's get started with having just the overview of GitHub Copilot. What are the functionalities that it brings into?
Yeah, so let's see about this developer community goals and the challenges. So the first one is to improve the developer efficiency. So what is exactly come over here? So the writing a code can be a time consuming and the copilot aims to accelerate the process by offering a context aware suggestions, reducing the need of developers to write the repetitive code manually. Okay. The second one is the simplify code complex code. So these modern software projects often involve the complex code bases and the developers spend the significant time navigating through various files and also as well as the understanding about the relationship between that components. So the copilot's motivation includes the simplifying the code creation by considering the broader context of the code as well as encompassing the multiple files and the tabs in the integrated development environment, that is the IDE. The third one is to reduce the repetition. So the developers commonly encounter the repetitive patterns in their code, such as writing a similar functions or the structures across the different files. So the GitHub Copilot is designed to recognize these patterns and generate the appropriate code snippet, reducing the need for developers to type out these repetitive sections manually. Next one is to learn from the existing code. So leverage the vast amount of code available in public repository. So by training on diverse code bases, so the Copilot aims to learn from the real world examples and provide suggestions that align with the common coding practices, styles, as well as the patterns. Next one is the foster collaboration. So this GitHub Copilot encourages collaboration by enabling the developers to share and reuse the code more effectively. Okay, so it's facilitated the exchange of the ideas and the best practices within the developer community by suggesting the code snippets that align with established conventions as well as with the standards. The next one is easy cognitive burden. So the writing code requires a deep understanding of syntax, logic, as well as the project specific details. So the Copilot seeks for the some of the cognitive load on the developers by offering intelligent suggestions, allowing them to focus more on high level design decisions as well as for the problem solving. The last one is the established feedback mechanism. So the GitHub Copilot is motivated by an iterative feedback loop. So as developers use the tool, their interactions contribute to the learning process, helping the system continuously improve its suggestions and adapt to evolving coding practices. So let's see for this GitHub. What is this exactly? So the GitHub is the place where projects are get started. So where the developers collaborate and where the open source community builds and maintains the world's code. So the GitHub is widely used platform for hosting and collaborating on the software development projects. So it serves as a central hub where developers can store their code repositories, track the changes, as well as they can just work together with the collaborators. So this GitHub utilizes the Git version control system, which allows the developers to manage the different versions of their code base effectively. So on a GitHub, developers can create a repository to store their code, manage the issue, as well as for the bug tracking. You can do perform these code reviews and collaborate with others through the features like a pull request and the branching. So what it does, it provides a web-based interface along with desktop and command line tools and making it accessible for the developers across the various platforms as well as for this skills level. So this GitHub has become an essential tool for both open source as well as for the private projects. So it's facilitating collaboration among the developers worldwide. It also offers a range of features to streamline the software development process from version control to project management, making it a cornerstone of modern software development workflows. So the next one, we are going to check what is this Copilot, your AI pair program, how it works. So this GitHub Copilot is an AI powered code completion tool developed by the GitHub in collaboration with OpenAI. So it is designed to assist the developers in writing a code more effectively by providing a contextually relevant suggestions as well as completing the repetitive task. So using the machine learning models trained on the vast amounts of code from the open source repositories, GitHub Copilot can understand the context of the code being written and generate the accurate suggestions for completing it. So these suggestions can range from entire lines of code to the function signatures, variable names, and many more things. So the GitHub Copilot integrates seamlessly with popular code editors like Visual Studio Code, enabling the developers to access its suggestions directly within their coding environment. As developers interact with Copilot, providing a feedback and corrections, the tool learns and improves over the time, becoming the increasingly adept at the providing the helpful as well as the accurate suggestions. Okay, so the overall this GitHub Copilot aims to streamline the coding process, reducing the need of repetitive typing, boost the developers' productivity by harnessing the power of AI to assist with the code creation. It also represents an exciting steps forward in the evolution of the developers tool, offering a glimpse into the future of the coding assistant. So let's talk about these five key points in regards with this GitHub Copilot. So the first one is the AI powered code completion. So this GitHub Copilot leverages the advanced AI models trained on the vast amounts of the code to provide the intelligent code completion suggestions as the developer writes. It also analyzes the context of the code being written and they generate the relevant suggestions to assist the developers in their coding task. The second one is the natural language interface. So the developers can interact with GitHub Copilot using a natural language within their code editors. So they can describe the functionality they want to implement in a plain English or the code commands, and the Copilot will generate the corresponding code snippets based on the provided description. So the third one is for support for multiple programming languages. Okay. The GitHub Copilot supports a wide range of programming languages, including the popular languages like JavaScript, Python, Java, C++, and many more. So these broad language supports make the Copilot versatile and applicable to various development projects as well. So the fourth one is the continuous learning and improvement. So the GitHub Copilot learns from the user feedback and the corrections provided by the developers. So as developers interact with the Copilot and make the adjustments to its suggestions, the tool learns and improves over the time, becoming the more accurate and effective in generating the helpful code snippets. And the last one is the integration with code snippets. So the programmers can use a variety of IDs depending on their specific needs as well as the preferences. GitHub Copilot seamlessly integrates with popular code editors like Visual Studio Code, allowing a developer to access its suggestions directly within their coding environment. So this integration enhances the developer workflow by providing a real-time code completion and an assistant as the developers write code. So with that, let's go ahead and see the overview of GitHub Copilot.
All right, so let's just quickly have a demo of GitHub Copilot, how we will be able to get the individual subscription and all those kind of a thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in a browser, I'm to the website called as github.com. So this is the place where we maintain our code and we'll be able to access the GitHub Copilot. So for example, if you have a look at very top to the profile picture of yours, you can just click there and then you should be able to see your Copilot. Okay, so this is the option that you should go for. So once you are to the your Copilot, since I already have the GitHub Copilot license, I'm able to see the screen. But if in case you do not have the license yet, you have not yet consumed, here you should be able to see the button called as Start Free Trial. Okay, so at least GitHub Copilot gives you free trial that you will be able to use. Unfortunately, we do not have that kind of an option available in Microsoft 365 Copilot, but at least GitHub is nice that it is giving you the free trial kind of a licenses so that you will be able to use that. And again, for example, once you're happy with that, you will be able to go ahead and start using that. So here you can see that I already have activated my Copilot individual subscription, but if in case you have not yet enabled that, you will be able to do it from here. So now that, for example, once you have done that, but if you want to get or modify your individual subscription later on, you can also simply do that. So you just need to again go back to your profile and then click settings from here. So once you are into the settings, here you can see the access kind of a section here, and in this access section we have something called as billing and plans. Okay, so once you go for billing and plans there, you will be able to go to the plans and usage, and from here you can select your current plan. Okay, so right now the current plan that I have got is GitHub Pro, but if in case you want to get it changed, or if you do not want to continue with that, you can do it from here. Okay, so this is the quick kind of a tip. If in case you do not have GitHub Copilot ready with you, this is the place from where you can go ahead and get started. Okay, so first thing that you need to go is you need to go into the profile and start clicking the your Copilot. If in case you have not yet utilized the free trial, you can do that. And at any given point of time, you can go back to the settings, then plans and usage, and from there you will be able to change your current plan. Okay, so these are the things that you can do to get started with your GitHub Copilot for individual subscription. Okay, so now that let us see how the GitHub Copilot actually works in the background.
So once enabled, your editor provides the context to Copilot, and the GitHub Copilot uses the OpenAI Codex model and GPT-3 behind the scenes. It returns the suggestions to your editor where you choose what to accept or ignore. So let's see how it works exactly. So this GitHub Copilot provides the context from the local files and it's not attached to a repository. So the file being edited could be hosted on the GitHub or in any other repo, but it's not a requirement. So the GitHub Copilot shares the data in short-lived way. So it's shared just long enough for GitHub Copilot to provide suggestions. It does not take that code and put it back into the data model suggestions. So this GitHub Copilot uses a transformative model. So think of something like a Google Translate. You put it in some of the words in English, translate it to the another language. So the Google Translate hasn't been that exact the sentence before necessarily and translated into that new language. So the Google Translate understand the semantic, the definition of the words, the language patterns, where there is a subject or the direct object, and based upon that input suggest an appropriate result. So you could think about the GitHub Copilot as a translation tool. So this GitHub Copilot learns how the people write the code by looking at lots of examples. So sometimes it seems the same lines of code repeated in many different projects. And when it happens, it might think that these lines are a common way of writing a code instead of something unique. So the GitHub Copilot might suggest these common patterns when it sees similar situations. So to make sure it does not suggest anything proprietary or a secret, the GitHub Copilot team created a filter to prevent that. So the GitHub Copilot includes a filter which detects the code suggestions matching the public code on the GitHub. So you can choose to enable or disable the filter. And when the filter is enabled, so the GitHub Copilot checks for the code suggestions with their surrounding code of about 150 characters against the public code on the GitHub.
So probably let's have a look at that setting from where you will be able to do that. So once again, when you click your profile icon, when you will go to the your Copilot, this is the place from where you will be able to select the suggestions which are matching the public code. Okay, so for example, if you make it allowed, that means Copilot can allow suggestions matching the public code. For example, for organizations who do not want this kind of an option, again, we do have option there to go ahead and make it block so that there will not be any suggestions to you based on the public matching code that we have got. Okay, so this is the simple kind of a setting that we have got, but again, very much specific. The other setting that we have got here is again Copilot access to Bing. So like, can Copilot make use of Bing index which is already built to answer the questions about the new trends as well as give the improved kind of an answer. So for example, if you have it disabled, it will not use that. If in case you make it enabled, GitHub Copilot can obviously go ahead and use the index which is built up by the Bing to answer the questions about all of the new trends as well as the improved answers. Okay, so that is one thing that you have got. All right, so let us go back and then discuss about the prompt engineering with GitHub Copilot.
Okay, so this is the GitHub Copilot user prompt process flow. So let's check one by one. Here is the breakdown of how its GitHub Copilot turns your prompts into the smart and usable code. So the first one is the secure prompt transmission and context gathering. So the process starts when you send your message to the GitHub Copilot using a secure connections called the HTTPS. So this keeps your message safe as well as the private, and the Copilot gets your message, which could be a chat or a command you wrote in your code. So at the same time, Copilot gathers some of the more details, like it looks at the code before and after where you are writing, so it understands what you are working on. It checks the type of file you are editing, like if it's like a Python file or a JavaScript file, then it helps giving the suggestions that make the sense for that type of file. It also checks the other tabs you have open so the suggestions fit well with the rest of your project. Second one is the content filtering. So before Copilot starts the understanding what you want and the suggestions suggesting the code, it checks for some of the things to keep you safe. So that it makes sure that not to include any personal information like a name, address, ID numbers in the suggestions. So this keeps the private details safe as well. It also uses the special tools to stop you any of the hate speech, offensive language, and inappropriate content from appearing. So this helps to keep the environment friendly and respectful for everyone using a copilot. Third one is the context analysis. So after checking the content, so the copilot looks at all the information it gathered, like the code you are working on and the type of file it says. So this helps the copilot understand what you are asking for and what you are trying to do with your code. So what is exactly it does means with this copilot, so it figures out what you want to do from what you wrote. It looks for the important words or the phrases that tell it what you need. Then it connects with you want to do with actual coding actions or the things your code needs to. So this turns your general idea into the specific task for your code to accomplish. So the fourth one is the code generation. So after understanding what you want, Copilot gives a few things, like it gives you a suggestion for the code that it fits your way, like to write the code. It suggests the good names for functions as well as for the variables. It's create a whole piece of code that are correct and fit well when you're writing them. Also make sure the code matches the language, frameworks and rule of your project. It also follows any specific rule or the style you have set for how the code should look and work. So the fifth one is about the user interactions. So you are presented with the generated code for review and interactions, and you have options to accept the code as is, or make the modification to the suggested code, or reject the code suggestions. Sixth one is the feedback loop initiation. So the copilot initiates a feedback loop based on the actions you achieve, like grow its knowledge from the accepted suggestions, learns and improve through modifications and the rejections of its suggestions. So the seventh one is the prompt history retention. So throughout the coding sessions, the Copilot retains a history of prompts, context details, as well as the interactions. So this history serves as a contextual reference, allowing Copilot to provide a consistent and coherent suggestions. The last one is for the repetitive for this prompts. So the process is repeated as you provide the more prompts with the copilot, continuously handling the user request, understanding their intent, and gathering the code in the response. So the over the time, the copilot applies this feedback and the interaction data, including the context details, to improve the understanding of the user content and refine its code generation capabilities. So with that, let's go ahead and see this learning to rank the fine tuning for GitHub Copilot. So it is says that the screen you can see how it works and What is the great about this, Laura? So this GitHub Copilot utilizes LLMs to provide the context-aware code suggestions. The fine-tuning is essential to adapt the LLMs for this specific task. So when it's come to the fine-tunings, how this works, so instead of changing everything, Laura adds the smaller trainable parts to each layer of the pretend model. The original model remains the same, which saves the time and resources. So what is exactly this great about this, Laura? So it beats the other adaptation methods like the adapters and the prefix tuning, and like it's getting the great result with the fewer moving parts as well. So with that, let's see what are the key features and the capabilities. So there is a code suggestions autocomplete, so that this GitHub Copilot provides the code suggestions as you type and to help to complete the different line of text. It's also support for this multiple IDs and programming languages. So it is available as an extension in Visual Studio Code used we can use. Then about the context aware code suggestions, this is the auto generated suggestions come from the context within the file, like for the function name, code comments, file names, and many more things. With the integration with Visual Studio Code, so the GitHub Copilot is available as an extension inside the Visual Studio Code. Interactive documentation is there so to make your code more readable and maintainable. Also, you can add the code documentation. Then the natural language input. So the node syntax need to be learned to use this GitHub Copilot. Then there is a pull request summaries, enterprise plan. With the enterprise plan, you will need a Copilot enterprise plan, which requires the GitHub Enterprise Cloud to use these PR summaries and talk to your repositories. Again, it lists this enterprise plan. So if you have ever gone to a new repositories and have no idea what's going on, so even through this README is there, so you can just use it in the GitHub Copilot.
All right, so now that quickly have a look at like how we'll be able to create a code in Visual Studio Code. Most of the previous speakers they have covered it very well, but quickly like GitHub Copilot is available as an extension in Visual Studio Code as well as in Visual Studio. So this is the Visual Studio Code that I have got. For example, once I go into the extension which is onto the right hand side of this Visual Studio Code, here you can see the option to include your extension. So for example, if you just search for GitHub, there are there are a couple of extensions that you should be able to see there. First one is GitHub Copilot itself, and then we do have GitHub Copilot Chat. Okay, since I already have it installed, I do just get the option to switch to the pre-release or disable or uninstall, and this is the place from the right hand uh, bottom corner from where you will be able to see the status of this GitHub Copilot. So right now it is ready so that we'll be able to use that. So let's say, for example, if you just want to go ahead and create a new file, probably I can just ask to create a file or maybe some kind of a code to GitHub from here itself. So let's say, for example, I will say like generate sample JSON for customer data. Okay, so what it is going to do is this is the kind of an algorithm that we were talking about. So it will give us the um, JSON data that can represent a customer, and this was the feedback loop that we were talking about. So let's say, for example, if this looks well, we can go ahead, click accept, so that next time this kind of an information will be used when there will be another request to create a customer data. Or for example, if we say discard, then probably we are not happy with the response which is generated. We can also go ahead and ask to regenerate the response. Again, this one will act as a feedback loop to give some kind of an improved results. Okay, so these are the basic things that we can do. Let's say, for example, we just simply go ahead and try to create a file. So let's say, for example, let me just go here and let me create one file here. So I will just probably call that file as a calculator um, dot cs. So this is obviously a C sharp kind of a class that we are writing. So what I can do is I can just do a control I and I will say like create a calculator class to add and subtract numbers. Okay, so very complex class someone can think of, But again, from here, I did not mention like which is the programming language that I want to use, but just by looking into the extension of this particular file, it has made out like this. This is the C sharp based class that I'm planning to write, and then it has given me all the suggestions. Okay, quick thing like I just want to say here like even we will be able to use uh, the GitHub Copilot chat as well. So this is the chat interface that you can see that you will be able to dock either into the left hand panel, or even you will be able to dock that onto the right hand panel of this Visual Studio Code, so that you will be able to use that. Let's say for example we are not very much aware of this snippet, so we can select this, we can just do a control I, and then we can just ask GitHub to explain this. So what it will do is it will just go ahead and give you the explanation about what this particular class or this selected code part is doing. Okay, so let's say for example you are one of the unfortunate person who has got a code which has been written by someone else, and you just need to maintain that. This kind of an tricks will definitely help you to go ahead and do the explanation for the code. But again, as we discussed, this is a co-pilot, not an autopilot, so don't trust blindly onto the explanation given by the code suggestion by the GitHub Copilot, but do your due diligence so that you will be able to get what is exactly needed there. Okay, so that was very quick thing like how we'll be able to create a code with that. Even GitHub Copilot chat I just have explained, but again these are the capabilities. For example, if you want to create a documentation, you will be able to do that. I will just show you few of the capabilities, and then other I will leave it to you to explore. Okay, so let's say for example we want to create a documentation. So documentation is one of the things that not all of the programmers like. They like to write a code, but probably when it comes to the documentation, probably most of the developers they find it very difficult to write the code. Okay, so in that case what we can do is I just have selected the code, I just did control I, and then I use that slash thing which is supported by the GitHub Copilot chat. So what it will do is it will just give you the summary or at least the documentation for everything. Okay, so here you can see that it has given us the nice summary of what this class is doing, as well as all of the parameters which are being used here. Okay, so let's say for example we just made some kind of a mistake, and then we want to get it corrected. So what we will do is probably uh, I will just type here like suggest the correction. Okay, and then we'll just pass it on to GitHub Copilot. So here what it will do is it will just take a reference of the file which is open here, which is calculator.cs, and then it will just look through that, and it should be able to give you the suggestion. Okay, now that for example if you already have used it, you might notice there is a bit difference here. Okay, so here you can see that we do have um, okay, first thing that we need to add this into the workspace, so that we'll be able to use that. I did not do that. That's the reason it wasn't giving any suggestion, but it will obviously give you the suggestion that instead of plus I should use minus sign to get it subtracted. The other thing which I was talking about is the capabilities model that we have got here. For example, you will be able to use GPT-4o, O1 Mini, O1 Preview, this kind of a models into the GitHub Copilot. Okay, because earlier we did not had this kind of a capability to choose our own model to use into the GitHub Copilot. Okay, but now that we have that flexibility. Okay, so these are the slash commands that you will be able to use with GitHub Copilot chat when you are trying to perform a specific operation or specific actions against code. So you can use slash doc to add the documentation comment. You can use slash explain to let GitHub Copilot explain that code to you. You can use slash fix to propose a fix for the problem. So let us try that slash fix. Okay, so let's say for example I have addition here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type slash fix, and here you can see that it has corrected the code as well. Okay, so previously here it was plus, but it has detected that the name of the method saying that it is subtract, and then I'm doing some kind of an incorrect operation to by adding two integers together. Okay, so it can do that suggestion as well. Okay, and then it is up to you to accept or discard, and then that feedback loop will again run through, and GitHub Copilot will help you to make your code better. You will be able to use generate to generate your generate a code to answer your question as well, or even help to get the help on Copilot chat, or maybe optimize to analyze and improve the performance of the code that you have selected. even test cases. Most of the programmers they don't like running the test cases, so this part will also help you running the test cases. Okay, so this is what GitHub Copilot can do for you. But again, for example, if you are planning to use GitHub Copilot, these are the functionalities which are given by individual licenses. For example, GitHub Copilot individual, it can give you these many things like up to the multi-line function suggestions. But for example, if you go for the Copilot business, in that case, you will get access to the audit log, or maybe you will be able to exclude specified files, as well as you will be able to specify the organization-wide policies as well. For example, if you go with Copilot Enterprise Plan, so these are the two major things that you will get here, or specifically this is the very major thing that you will get here is the pull request summary. Okay, because when we make a pull request, we want to know like what are the changes which are made into this pull request. The developer who has made this pull request may or may not be that friendly to put all the details, but for example, for the reviewer who is reviewing the large number of pull requests which might have tens or maybe 15 or 20 kind of files which with the code correction of more than 500 lines. In that case, obviously this pull request summary will help the pull request approver to know the context of this pull request and then perform his job very effectively. Okay, so this is again another good feature that we have got. Now that, for example, if you want to use the GitHub Depender bot, so for example, whenever any of the code binaries that we are using inside of our code, if in case that gets stale, obviously we are at a stake of some risk of using the old code or maybe old kind of an binaries. In that case, we do have support from GitHub as well, so that we'll be able to use the depender bot kind of a feature. Okay, so if in case I just want to show it to you, for example, if I go into the repositories that I do have, and if in case I just want try to go to any of the repository, probably okay, no, probably the repository which I use or where my code is. Okay, just give me one moment. Okay, yeah, probably here. So this is a place from where you will be able to see the depend about kind of an alerts. So if you go to the securities section, if you go to the depend about, here you can see that I have got almost 1,600 plus kind of a depend about kind of an suggestions given by the GitHub or Git. So here you can see that it will give you the suggestions. It will try going through all of the code that you have got, and then it will make you aware that what part of code has become vulnerable, so that you will be able to make a correction to that. So for example, here if you see, I'm using some kind of an minimalist kind of an package with the version of 0.2.4, but the recent one is 1.2.6. So it will ask me to by giving the suggestion that I should switch to the newer version. Okay, so these are the kind of things that it can do. Second thing is about GitHub code spaces. So for example, if you want to use GitHub Copilot, GitHub Copilot chat, but probably you don't want to install Visual Studio, or if you just want to make use of the online capabilities, in that case you can go to the code and you can click this code spaces. From here you will be able to set up your code space, maybe onto the branch that you have selected, and then it will help you to write maintain your code without installing anything onto your host machine, and then even perform all of the activities that you will be able to perform from your IDs. Okay, so this is so strong. Okay, so last part I just quickly want to cover you is about the GitHub models. So what is meant by the GitHub models is like earlier we were unaware of what kind of a model GitHub is using in the background to do the code suggestion. But now that GitHub has given us the option to select our own model for code completion, code suggestions, and everything. Okay, so for that reason, if in case I again go back to my github.com, and if I just select the marketplace, so this is the place from where you will be able to see all of the models which are available to you. Okay, so from here you can see that we do have models available. So I can go to the models and select the model which I want to use for my GitHub experimentation. So again here various models, for example the GPT-4o, GPT-4o mini, and most of the models not just from Microsoft but from Mistral, from Meta, you will be able to see that. So let's say you are pretty much interested to know how the GPT-4o will work for you. In that case, you can just click here and then it will give you the entire information. So all of the capabilities of this particular model will be listed here under the readme section. So good to go into all those capabilities just to ensure that this is probably a good fit for your coding thing. Second thing, what you can do is you can anytime go to the evaluation to see like the selected model, how does it perform with other models which are available via GitHub Marketplace of models based on the various other um, parameters which are being set by GitHub Copilot. So once you are probably happy with that, what you can do is, okay, one thing here is like there is a playground. For example, if you have been using OpenAI, you must be aware of this thing called as playground. So if you click this playground, this is the same thing as we have got into the OpenAI, right? Or Azure OpenAI specifically, wherein we do get the system prompt, we do specify the maximum number of tokens, temperature, top P, stop, all those kind of parameters, and then we will be able to use that. Okay, so probably even here you can say like tell me a joke on cat and it can give you the joke on cat as well. Okay, so this is the model wherein you will be able to so here you can see that it has also generated the joke on cat as well. So here we do have got all the things like we'll be able to specify the system prompt, we'll be able to specify all of the parameters that we can do with GitHub Copilot. Okay, so probably you might be thinking that everyone will go for GitHub models itself. Why to go for uh, Azure AI model, right? So again, there are limitations. You will not be able to use it forever. There are certain restrictions which are being imposed. Like for example, if you want to use this kind of an experimental mode, like how many transactions are free and then how you will be charged. Okay, so you will be able to get to this part like let remit tier from this detail section, and then you will be able to get the more information. Okay, so for example, if I get into the rate limit tier, here you can see that with the row sorry with the low kind of a rate limit tier, you will be able to have at least 50 free kind of a request per minute, maybe 150 requests free for per day. So these are the ones that we have got. Okay, so that means we won't be able to use that as a model, but at least this is kind of a good place to go ahead and get started. But again, as and when you are using, you will be able to make use of that functionality. So all this functionality is available by something called as GitHub key. Okay, so there is a key or the API key that makes available for you to use this kind of a models into the GitHub Copilot. So here you can see that you can go into the code. Probably you will be able to get this entire code into your Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, and you will be able to use that directly. Other thing is like, for example, if you want to change the language as well, you will be able to do that from here. And once you are happy with that, you can just click get API key, and from there you will be able to use that API key. Okay, again, for example, if you want to create various presets for a specific language that you want to use or a specific kind of an behavior that you want this particular AI model to use, you can do that. um, uh, Now that, for example, if you go into the raw, this is the kind of an a raw JSON that you will see based on the transactions that we have done so far. Again, from the top, you will be able to select the models that you want. So let's say, for example, I just experimented with GPT-4o, how my model looks like, or at least how the responses will be. If in case probably we just want to try it out, how the responses will be when we will go for maybe 5.3 kind of a model. Okay, so even in that case, you can do that. You can again set the same kind of parameters and then again give you a prompt. So this prompt will be specifically for the code that you are writing. Okay, so not just the open kind of a prompt. Again, if you want to go ahead and compare those two models side by side, you will be able to use that. So let's say, for example, I want to compare 5.3 medium instruct along with GPT-4o. I can give a prompt and then compare like how both the models are giving me the result. And once we are happy with that, we'll be able to use this model for our GitHub Copilot, so that we'll be able to use that for our code generation, code suggestions, and explanation, all those kind of thing. Okay, so this is a relatively new feature which is added to the GitHub Copilot called as GitHub Models. So maybe I will say explore this kind of a feature, and then you will be able to make use of most of the GitHub Copilot functionality. All right, so I guess that's all. So thank you very much for patiently listening to us, and thank you once again to the all of the other speakers as well as Rizwan and Satya for organizing this event. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Nandip, and thank you, Smita. I'll not take much time. Directly go. There are few questions coming for
Sure.
you guys. Uh, okay. How can we be sure that the code is secured and optimized, suggested from GitHub Copilot?
Correct. So there are no parameters which are being given by anything as such. But again, for example, if you are using GitHub models, in that case, you will have some kind of an control over that. So at least you will be able to compare those models, and then you will be able those parameters which are available with your models, and you will be able to do that. So again, as such, as I said, there are no guidelines, or at least there are no measures that we can do. But if in case you are using that, you can. Or if you're planning to use your own models, you can go to the marketplace and see those parameters. Okay, so that is just one way.
Okay, thank you. Nice reply. I think that's a good because since this GitHub Copilot, we cannot be 100% sure that okay, it is giving you the optimized code. So
Correct. Correct.
always we should have our own eye or we should follow our own experience. Yeah. Another question: does Copilot work for the complex code or logic?
Yeah, Miss, again, this is a tricky question even for Copilot as well. So it does work, but again, as I said, it is a Copilot, not autopilot. So it is our responsibility to make sure that it works correctly. So obviously, if you ask anything, Copilot is going to give you answer. So even if you know that this answer may or may not be correct, but it is going to give you some kind of an answer. Okay. So if you just ask like maybe from Python, I just want to access my um, SSO, how I can do that. It is going to give you the code. So it is your responsibility to make sure that the code which is given by Copilot, it works in an appropriate way that you think. So it is a Copilot, not autopilot. So obviously it can give the code, but it is our responsibility to get it validated.
Yes, I agree with Nandip also because since it is a co-pilot, it will suggest you. It doesn't
Yeah,
write code. It will write code for you, but you are the one who is going to finalize. Okay, this is the correct code. That's why we need to check the various parameters, or we need to make sure. Okay, this code is optimized. Even if it is suggested from Copilot blindly, we cannot say okay it is correct and use it. And if it comes to complex code, yeah, it can sometimes give wrong answer also. So we need to verify that.
correct,
Another
correct.
one has given his another feedback. We are having some bad experience with code suggestion. It has lots of negative review and feedback. How can we get the better code suggestion?
Okay, so again, these are the models which are available directly. So that's the reason like GitHub has made available all these models. So if you're not happy with the out of the box model which is used by GitHub, in that case you will be able to bring your own model. Okay, so again, as of now, I don't think we'll be able to train these models as such, but at least we'll be able to choose our model. So obviously GPT-4o kind of a models, they are quite optimized, or even GPT-4o mini, these kind of a models are very much optimized to give you the good responses. So if in case you are not happy with the out of the box codex model, which is onto which this GitHub Copilot runs, you are free to use your own model. But again, as of now, the limitation is that we cannot train them, because here you can see that it is still in preview. Okay, but
Correct.
this is
So
another possibility.
I have seen also, I can add some feedback here. There is
Yeah.
another version called GitHub Copilot Enterprise. So that enterprise has a capability to train the model based on our own repositories. Let's say like what Microsoft claim is what this GitHub Copilot is trained on the public repositories, which can have a good code as well as bad code mix. I mean, public repositories is all over. I mean, somebody have maybe secured code, some might write optimized code, but there can be some poor coding as well. So when it comes for organization, maybe they can choose that Copilot Enterprise, GitHub
Yeah,
Copilot Enterprise, and they can train on their existing repositories, which means that Copilot is going to give the suggestion based on their own coding pattern, their own libraries, and so on. So that's also one of the things they can try.
correct, correct. Or even you can choose this option as well when you are doing using the individuals kind of a thing. So if in case you do not allow the suggestions from public code, you trust that all of the code that you have written or anyone within your organization has written is very best, you can turn this to blocked, and then it is going to give you suggestions only from the code that you have written so far.
That's also a very good approach. Yes, that will also
Yeah,
help you to, at least optimize some part of it. Yes.
correct, correct, true.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see only this. These are the question. There is one question. I don't think that is also very tricky. Which pattern it follows to suggest the code? There is no fixed pattern. It will try to, check the context what we are writing in our current project, and based on that, it do the suggestion. What I believe.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
I don't see any more questions. So, I think that's all from the question answer. Now, uh, any final thought from you, Nandip and Smita?
Yeah, but again, firstly, I would like to thank, thanks, make a thank to you for organizing this, as well as to all of the attendees to be very active onto the chat and asking the questions. But just specific thing about this Copilot is like it is a Copilot, it is not autopilot. So just think of it as your AI personal assistant, okay? And then make use of it, and then definitely, miss at least when I do code. I do use GitHub Copilot to much extent, and almost 80% of the time, I'm very much satisfied with the output of GitHub Copilot. Okay, so again, for the 20%, you need to still verify, you need to make those adjustments. But again, GitHub Copilot is awesome kind of a tool that I have come across that that can definitely help you by giving some kind of a boilerplate to start writing your code. Okay, so if in case you have not yet explored, go ahead, explore that, and then keep experimenting with it. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Nandip and Smita, for this insightful session. Especially, I like this uh, idea of using our own model in order if we are
yeah,
not
correct.
satisfied with the out of the box. Yeah. With
Yeah,
also, you have already shared, okay, what we can do. This is a co-pilot, not autopilot. So we must
correct,
be responsible for what we are selecting or what we are accepting the code suggested from GitHub Copilot.
correct,
Excellent. Thank you for excellent session. And now I would like to move for our last session of this event. Let me go back here. So our next speaker, Sarvanan Ganeshan, sorry.
Yeah,
He's
hi
already
Rizwan.
here. Hi, welcome to the
Yeah,
event
hi
and
Rizwan. Yeah.
hi. So he also need no introduction. We mostly see him in LinkedIn. He is also very active and contributing into lots of forums, community, and he is also a Microsoft MVP. Now we will be, his topic is also very interesting, building generative AI apps with GitHub models and .NET. So let's dive into it. Sarvanam, now you may share your screen and we can start the session already.
Yeah. Hi Rizwan. Hi Satya. Actually, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. And then actually, it's like and I really want to thank this one for interrupting me into this conference at last moment. They based on my request actually. So I'm sharing my screen. Is my screen is visible now, guys? Hope it is visible.
Yes, I can see your screen. I think it's visible to everyone.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, if you see, today we are going to speak about building the generative AI apps with GitHub models and .NET. In your previous session, I hope actually Mandeep and Smita has clearly explained about what your GitHub Copilot is doing, and actually they also told about the much more information about on the GitHub models as well. Okay, so actually here in this session, actually we'll be seeing some hands-on actually how we can incorporate our GitHub models into our .NET applications so that you can build a generative AI app or the chatbot out of it actually. So myself, Karunan Ganesan, having around 11 plus years of experience. I'm on Microsoft MVP in two categories, both in AI and IoT. I've been actually contributing for a Microsoft communities all over the world for the past from 7 to 8 years. So yeah, this is my GitHub handle and my LinkedIn handle as well. Actually, if anyone wants to connect, actually, you guys can able to connect it actually. And also been very much a active contributor for C# community as well, and I'm a C# community as well. So moving into our topic, actually, if you see here the GitHub platform, if you see here, actually, we'll have some lot of things are happening nowadays, yeah, all over the world, actually, in the space of AI. Okay, so if you particularly take the GitHub platform, actually, where for actually at the initial stages, actually, it has been created as for some to store their code as a deposit inside of depositories. But now, actually, it has been a leverage for various purposes like what it will actually for GitHub actions to initiate your TR requests and incorporate your code into the pipelines and for your the automated deployments actually as well. And now one step higher, actually, now GitHub has been moved to the give the power of AI to all by introducing a very powerful tag programming tool called GitHub Copilot. Okay, so in the GitHub Copilot, actually, in a previous session, Nandip has been told that you clearly about how the GitHub Copilot works and how it gives some suggestions related to the code as well. Okay, so this is what actually happening inside the GitHub platform, and now actually GitHub also introduced GitHub models in their marketplace as well. So we'll be seeing about the detailed things about those GitHub models in this session and how we can leverage it in our the .NET framework, actually using the Azure AI Inference SDKs. Okay, so using AI to build AI actually. So if you go, if you nowadays, actually, you guys might be know that you can use your GitHub Copilot to build your minimum viable product actually using GitHub Copilot, and also you can solve complex questions or complex errors which has been logical errors, especially actually which have been arising in your code or any security related issues which has been arising in your code using the GitHub Copilot efficiently. So you guys have been knowing that nowadays, actually, we have been using GitHub Copilot with various models like GitHub 4o, GitHub Mini, the O Mini, and actually the also actually it has been giving access to DPT-4o, DPT-O Mini, and DPT-Go Pro for the preview versions, and we have also have a Cloud Sonnet as well, actually. So apart from this, actually, I got some good results from Cloud Sonnet model 3.5 version, and it's under the preview only when compared to GPT-4o for when using for the codings and all. Actually, when I compared the speed, efficiency, performance, and error rate between these core models, I felt actually Cloud Sonnet was good actually when compared to the other GPT models actually. So yeah, nowadays, actually, if you see, GitHub Copilot has been most widely used in a lot of the developer tool. Even actually, if you want to create any minimum viable product for your startup building and all, nowadays actually people creating a minimum viable product by giving a proper prompt. They are giving your an idea as a prompt to GitHub Copilot, and GitHub Copilot frames the entire solution for you actually in this case. Okay, so it's if you should have for building a minimum viable correct. Actually, nowadays the person who doesn't have a maximum knowledgeable programming also can be able to do by using the GitHub Copilot actually. And once again, the answers actually the answers which are provided by GitHub Copilot are not 100% sure, but actually it will be a for maximum if you are a some minimal programming, it will be easy for you guys to rectify those errors as well actually using the GitHub Copilot. So, multimodal copilot has arrived. Like, what is multiple copilot actually? Earlier, actually, we can use only, we doesn't know what kind of model they have been using in our GitHub copilot. But nowadays, actually, we have some options and you can choose and more and come to that space actually. Like, we can switch between the models like a GitHub 4o or GitHub Omni and GitHub O actually mini, Omni preview and all, and between the Cloud Sonnet or in the Indian you can after some days actually you can use Py3 as well in space actually as a in SLM actually. Okay, so these are this is why actually we have been calling the corporate as a multi-model now. Okay, and then GitHub Copilot for VS Code. In a previous session, we have been clearly seeing how the GitHub Copilot has been installed in our marketplace and how we need to be signing up, and you guys can leverage it for the coding in the VS Code. So here, if you see, what are the actions we can do for GitHub Copilot for VS Code? We can have multiple editing feature, multi-model selection feature, code reviews we can do, repo indexing, code referencing, custom instructions, and we can also have a handle called GitHub, and then the intent detection as well using the GitHub Copilot. We can whichever can be leveraged using your VS Code IDE. Okay, next now we are going to our top topic actually, like where how the models are there you can check for GitHub models in your marketplace and how we can do. So once you're actually good with your GitHub Copilot, you can be able to create a code now, which will be making your idea to come into a real world actually. Okay, so that's what we have mentioned here as a dice of the AI engineer. Okay, so now we are introducing about the GitHub models actually. So in this actually, if you see here in our this is a marketplace of GitHub model actually. The marketplace of GitHub actually. So there we have a future co-pilots, and if you have I can go here and check for some the engagements which are already here for a GitHub Copilot. So if I want GitHub Copilot exclusive for Docker, I can choose it from here. And actually, if I want exclusive for Stack Overflow, also I can choose it from here actually. And for the Octopus and Teams toolkit, any type of the engagements which I declare here, I can choose it from here actually. Okay, and then this is a pop part actually where we are going to see actually that what models these are the models we are getting incorporated into our GitHub workspace actually. Sorry, the marketplace. So we have all the models here actually. If you go and see in 5.3.5 MOE instruct, it will give all the necessary details of the 5.3. Okay, and also we have a space called a playground here actually. So in this playground action, what we can see actually, you can be able to check for the system prompt which you need to give, how the model response will be coming, and also you can choose what are the maximum tokens you can use, and what are the randomness you have in your thing. All kind of parameters you can able to choose here, and then you can also see the details of your 5.3.2 MO instruct model here actually. Okay, so in this space actually we have a option called code. Okay, in this code actually we have n number of languages are there actually. Okay, so if here actually we are having a Python, JavaScript, C Sharp, Java, and you can have it make it as a REST API as well actually. But I am, since it's a .conf actually, I'm going ahead with this C Sharp, and also we can actually make use of or actually I hope so for OpenAI GPT-4o we have the 1 minute. Yeah, we have the SDK for we have also have a OpenAI SDK and Azure AI Inference SDK. In this, we need to note that actually we have a if you see in the marketplace, sorry, yeah, sorry. in your inside a marketplace and in our the models section, actually we can see in the number of models. Actually in this all the models, our Azure AI inference SDKs will be supporting it actually. Okay, for the GPT based models actually, so or the OpenAI based models actually, we will be having the OpenAI SDK supports will be there actually. So if I go here for OpenAI GPT-4, you can inside my playground, if I choose my code, and then actually if I see here, actually I can make use of two type of SDKs. One is OpenAI SDK and one is the Azure AI Inference SDK. And also I can choose my programming language accordingly. And now I'm going to use about the C sharp only, so I'm going to take the C sharp. Okay, and then if you see here, actually this is just a playground actually. So if you want to know more, if you want to move this code as a for the deployments or for the production nature, actually we need to move this to some editors of and then IDEs actually to take the things under our control. So for the purposes, actually what we are going to see, we need to get a API key, where actually if you see, you will be having the GitHub developer key will be there actually. Okay, so we need to click this Git developer key. So it will be creating generate a new token actually. Okay, so we have I already created a token here actually. So if I click that, actually my token will be invisible here actually. Okay, so demo token for .NET Conf like that I have been created, and if you want, actually you can generate a new token here, and this token will be giving it in our code as well. Okay, so once this is done, actually, okay, see here, actually, I'm going to check the Azure AI inference code and taken my C sharp, and in my Git API key, actually, I'll be giving, I'll also actually, if I going to use a .NET environment, we also having some prerequisites here to run a basic code sample, like we need to install a .NET runtime in your developer machine, and then actually we need to give .NET restore or .NET run, and also if you want to run a basic code sample, actually, which are mentioned here. So endpoint will be always your models.inference.ai.com. Okay, so if you can actually, I've been made this setup in my Visual Studio. So I will show you that. See, actually, these are the SDK actually which have been used here is the Azure AI Inference SDK and Azure Identity SDKs, and I've been downloaded from my NuGet packages actually. So these are two things actually have been installed in my projects actually. See here, autogen.azure inference and azure.ai identity. Okay, so if I go to my program, I need to give my endpoints, which are I showcased here, and I also taken a token. So this is my GitHub access token. Okay, and then actually I have been creating a chat history here for whatever actually your helpful assistant knows about it, if something you can give like that. And then actually I've been creating a chat history and chat completion option action, and then actually I'm giving the model as 5.3 medium 4K instruct. So here actually you can give any of your the novels actually like DPT4 or DPT Omni actually, or GPT Omni Mini or anything actually you can give it actually here. Okay, so once this cat request user message and that history has been completed, actually it will be going to an exit loop. So once you receive your once my code receives your data, actually your prompt actually, okay, here it will be moving to a console, and this user message will be starts with a breaking point, and then it will go to my 5.3 medium model, and then it will be going for the chat completion from the bot actually. That at last my assistant will be giving the chat response message, assistant messages response to choices or first message, so that it will come around. It will be like my assistant message will be the assistant message dot content, the content which are generated for my question by using the 3 model actually. Okay, so if I run this code, actually you guys can able to see already I had some codes here. Actually, sorry. So it will be like a minute. Sorry. Yeah. I'm just giving hi. Can you please tell me about .NET Conf 2024? It will tell me actually. Based upon the response on my model, it will be telling that what to see. Microsoft .NET Conf, but they have a very old actually data. It seems actually it's not a model updated. It seems actually, and then I can tell and I can ask actually I have some queries related to shop floor of our manufacturing arena. So to tell actually that it will ask us actually what kind of queries will be asked, or actually to explain about how the shop floor of top manufacturing area will be there. Here. So it will be telling us, I have some queries written, and the top floor of our plan is where assembly and production vehicles takes place, and gives the entire data actually. So like this, actually, you can create your own GPT, okay, by utilizing the models in GitHub Marketplace, okay, and also leveraging the power of .NET and C# programming language actually. So if you go back to my PPT, actually, the same things I have been mentioned here as well. I have been described about the models we have here actually in the entire GitHub models. We have everything, Phi, Llama, and then Cohere, Mistral, Bria, everything actually we have actually. And then I have been showcasing demo as well. So at last, thank you actually. And also these are some of the resources actually you guys can make utilize, and you can give some valuable feedbacks for of these models as well. Okay, so this is how actually I hope so this slide will be very much useful for you all, so that you can get explore on this topic much more, and I can also get familiar with the semantic kernel as well actually. Okay, so so this is what I want to explain in this session with a demo. So I've been done with it. I'm really thankful for the .NET Girl community and the Cloud Experts group community actually. So and also been thankful to Mohammed Rizwan and and also thankful to Rizwan Ansari and Satya Karki actually for giving me this opportunity to talk in this .NET Conf 2024 section. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarvanan, for the session. And also, we got a complete idea how this Copilot work, how we can build our own Copilot, use Copilot to build, develop our, I mean, we can use GitHub Copilot, sorry, GitHub models with .NET to generate our own AI apps. So thank you for wonderful session and giving the insights. And yes, if anybody want to follow him, he can follow them in the LinkedIn. He's very active there. And once again, thank you for your session. I don't see any question. I think most of the question is already covered by Nandip, so may not be here.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah. So since we are last of our session, so I would like to thank you all the attendees, all the speakers, for giving their wonderful session, giving their time to contribute. With that, I would like, if anybody want to see the recording of this session, they can follow this YouTube channel. They can follow us also in this LinkedIn account. If you have any feedback about the session, if you want to give any improvement, suggestions, your dissatisfaction, then you can scan this QR code, or there is a URL. Through that, you can give us your feedback, valuable feedback. With that, thank you everyone for attending this session. And now we already know that .NET 9 has launched with lots of improvement, new features, and it's already handshaked with AI. AI has become a part and parcel of all the things that we do, starting from development, implementation, or whatever the things we want to do in software development activities. So all the software development stuff we can involve AI, and GitHub Copilot has become one of the best friend for all the developers, saving times, helping them to write the code, optimize their code, as well as fix it, document it, write the test cases, and many more. With that, I would like to thank you, and that's it. See you again for our next session.